Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to the first WEN-Talk of December, the only WEN-Talk of December. We're so glad you're here, and we're excited to bring you all kinds of great information, juicy nuggets, tips, stories, all the stuff. And today, we're going to start with Kim Mullin. So instead of holding up the clock, I'm going to go ahead and bring her right up. Welcome, Kim. Thanks for being here.
Oh, hi, Melissa, and thank you for having me today. I really, it's always great to share information, receive information. You always grow. So thank you very much. And I guess today I'm going to speak to living life by design, a lifestyle choice, and really imagine your life designed by you and for you. That I made a decision many years ago, consciously, to live my life by design, to choose what I wanted and to act how I want it, where I want it. And it's made me very happy. I want to thank you, Haley, Melissa, and Women's Entrepreneur Network for actually inviting me here to share today. I love everything about the group name. When I think of women, I think of them as, Women's Entrepreneur Network, women, strong, we multitask, and we bring emotion and care to so much that we do. And in the business world, well, we're rocking it. And when I think about entrepreneur, well, that's the way to growth. I've been fortunate. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I think about my life and how did that happen? And it happened completely by accident. I was 13 years old, and my father did some work, and he was paid by receiving all the inventory from a store that was closing. So he shows up at home, and we live on a main street in a flat. And he says to my mother, we're opening a store. So move everything into a couple of rooms, and the double parlor will become a store. And I'm watching with eyes wide open. And he says, and Kimmy, you're going to manage that store. Well, Daddy, I don't know how to manage a store. And here's exactly what he said to me. Well, you know about clothes, don't you? And that to me is entrepreneurship. We don't have all the answers. We do not know how to do everything, but we don't need to know. What we need is just a little nugget that'll drive us forward. We will get everything we need as we need it. I did manage that store, and he started me on a journey of entrepreneurship. So I love your title. Network. Well, one of my favorite words is connectivity and connecting. And isn't that what a network is? Connecting and networking and getting to know each other. And it's about how can I help you? And I need, and how can you help me? And it's a total exchange. So Women's Entrepreneur Network, I've been here for a while, and I'm grateful for you. And I want to thank you very much for having me here today. So how we'll start is, I have a question for each. I can't see you, but if we were live, I would at least see. But if you want to comment in the chat, you can. But one start, do you have? And 3 questions. Do you have awareness of what you really want? And when I think about want, I think of my friend from Holland and Netherlands, who, when I asked her, when she was working on creating a vision map, what do you want? She wouldn't allow herself to want, because she was raised, you're not supposed to want. You're supposed to be grateful for what you have. And I look, and I was raised Irish Catholic, so I don't have to tell you, I had to have humility and humble. And what do you mean you want? You want something else? No. Well, what do you really want? And if you can't figure out what you want, what helped her was from Timothy Ferriss in 4-Hour Work Week, he defines it really well when he says, what excites you? So if you're struggling with figuring out what you want, maybe you want to think of what excites you. My second point, do you have a personalized, defined success system for your life? Have you created the system that's going to help you feel successful? Which brings another point, definitions. Do you use the definition that society or a dictionary has told you what success should look like? Or have you created your own definition? The definition that's going to define you and your journey. When you know you arrived. You know, words like success, words like happiness, words like wealth, which is my third point. Do you have wealth? Again, what's your definition of wealth? For me, it's about all areas of our life. Wealth is not just financial. If you look up the dictionary, financial wealth and wealth have very similar definitions. Really? You know, it doesn't matter how much money I have if I'm not socially wealthy. I don't feel wealthy at all. And if I'm not physically wealthy, what does money matter? So things to consider, wealth, awareness, and system. So imagine I call you. Here's the next thing I want to say to you. Imagine I'm going to call you. You're all wherever you are. And I say to you, I'm taking you on a holiday. I'm taking you on a journey. I'm taking you on a vacation. I'm taking you on a trip. Meet me at the airport, your closest airport. Imagine that feels good to take a trip somewhere for most people. So imagine I say that. And I say to you, you can only take one suitcase, one carrying bag. That's all you can take with you. You're going to say, well, that depends where I'm going. If I tell you where you're going, you're going to pack that carrying bag and it's going to be easy. Now, let me ask you about the journey of life. What would you pack in your carrying bag to take the trip of your life? We so much bring with us. Everything happens to us, who we've been, what we've done. And the question is, are we bringing what we need and want to get what we want? And that's a mouthful. But I'll continue on this. This idea came to me from a song, and not that I have a great voice, but I have a voice. We'll sing the song Streets of London. And at one point, they're talking about the old woman with her carrying bags. She's no time for talking. Sometimes we're so busy, we have no time. She just keeps right on walking. That's a good thing, to keep walking towards what you want. Carrying her home, carrying our dreams into big carrier bags, actually. And that's what I want to suggest to you, to consider what you're carrying in your carrying bag from your past. Keep the memories. They're beautiful. They're wonderful stories. But let go of the stuff that you don't need to move forward. Today, I want to share what it is to live life by design and imagine this, step into you. And what does that mean? Imagine your most comfortable pair of shoes when you put them on, and how does it feel? Well, that's what it feels like to live life by design. Step into you. And how to pack your carrying bags? Well, it's for what you want to take on the, thank you, about baggage. Yeah, it does make sense. It made sense to me, and the song helped. But really, it's about life by design is going where you want to go. And then you have to consider what you're bringing with you, and I'll speak to that. And now I'll introduce who I am. I'm Catherine Kim Mullin, and depending where you've met me, and I would suggest it's the same for all of you, and when you've met me, you would have a different description of me. If you met me at work, I have 35 plus years experience and expertise in commercial leasing and finance, human resources, in the corporate world, for small businesses and large corporations. Okay, so if you meet me there in my blue suit, pumps, and everything is perfect, you will meet that person working within that role with that mask on. We all have roles that we play, and we all wear masks. Do we consider them as we're moving forward? So if you were to talk to one of my friends, they would say, you know, who's Kim? And they would answer you, oh, what's she up to now? Because I said I live life. I love people. And that's exactly it. I try things. I open businesses. I do joint ventures. And what's she up to now? And if you were to meet one of my colleagues or one of the business people I've worked with, my clients, and ask, you know, what would you say? Oh, she's got stuff. I've got stuff. If I don't have an answer, I know somebody that has the answer. And isn't that what it is when we connect with others? like this networking group. Somebody in here has the answer to something you're looking for. It's for you to reach out and get that answer. So I wanted to share that. I love people and I love learning. I love connecting. So today I'm saying, through my whole life, it's always been, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help you? So this is what I do. I help by sharing how I've lived and my experience and expertise. For now, I'd like you to consider what your life could be like if you choose to live life by design and you choose to step into you. And I wanted to stay on task, so I took a few notes here. So before we even go into the steps to do that, I want to talk about preparation. Preparation is the start of your journey. It's an understanding of who you are and who you were. That's all your past and up to now. Okay. The second thing it's what you're doing now and what you've done. It's almost like you take your resume for a job and personalize it. Zig Ziglar shared, when he taught goal setting, he shared that you've got to be, do, and have. That's the start of it. Well, where have you been? What have you done? And what have you had? What have you done? Your starting point is what we're looking for, your point A. So if you look at me, I'm in North Carolina today. My A point was Montreal. If I didn't know where I was going in North Carolina, where would I be today? So that's the starting point. Where are you starting from today? Where are you in your life? Okay. Your starting point is different from my starting point. Now, to create the journey to life, you want to know your destination. But it all starts with your starting point. What parts are you putting in your carrier bag? What parts are going to serve you well to where you want to go? So you'll come back to that after you do this. But, I love words, letters, and music. So it's not surprising that the key of C has inspired me. It is the only key with no flats or sharps and, no half steps or measures. With music, it's so clear. If you're not in tune, somebody's going to hear it. You know what? Life is the same. If you're not in tune, if you're not on your path, the things that excite you, you're going to know. You're going to know by the way you feel. You're going to know by what you see. You're going to know by how you're doing the things you're doing. So you want to think about that. You want to figure out if your life's in tune. What do you see? And more importantly, are you stepping in integrity and authenticity? What do you let other people see? Do they get to see the you? Do they get to see the person behind the mask? Or do you not remember who you were before the mask? Because sometimes we play a part and take them on like they're real. That's who we are. But we're more than that. So you know what? Being in tune is not just about one note, like living life by design. So you'll always have a hint that you're not in tune based on the struggles you experience. We focus, what we do in my business is we focus on creating wealth, defined by you wealth. And what it looks like is your navigation system, how you're going to navigate through that journey of life. With emotional wealth, it comes by having an understanding of what you want financially, socially, spiritually. And spiritually isn't religion. Spiritually is, what do you believe? What do you believe about yourself? What are your values? What's important to you? I mean, I just recently with my son said to him, integrity is everything to me. Don't lie to me. And you know what? I'm fortunate that he hasn't. But it was important to me. Respect. I respect myself. I respect you. And I demand respect from the people in my life. If not, I'm not really in that place. It doesn't work for me. Not bad people, just not my people. So that's the thing that's important. Physical. Physical isn't just your body. Physical is the places you go, what you want to see, the things you like, the house you want, the trips you want to take, everything physical. And then mental. And mental is another one of those, when you look at your mental, your subconscious mind really does impact you. And some people know about it and some people don't. But what are you feeding your mind? That's the question. I read every day, and I love reading. I love learning. So what are you feeding your mind? So you want to consider all of the pillars in your life. So getting to point B is your destination. Who you want to be. Never mind who you were. Never mind who you are today. Who do you want to be? Never mind what you've done. Take only the parts that serve you moving forward. What do you want? What excites you? What do you want financially? What do you want for your mind? What do you want physically? What do you want spiritually, socially? It's all of it. And when you have all of that, emotional wealth, which really does have a big impact on where we go and what we do, it comes easier. I operate in 4 C's to get to my destination. And that is 1, I work with creating. That's the imagination. It's where I'm going. I operate with 2, choosing. That's the decisions I make on what I want. I operate in 3, commit. And committing is a very interesting thing because it's a hard thing to do, to say, this is where I'm going. And, you know, sometimes when we're choosing and committing, we make the mistake of mixing up. As women, we do this fabulously. We multitask. Know that we can't multi-goal. Know that multitasking is really doing one thing at a time. One thing, one time, one place, but we're moving very rapidly. So pick that one thing you really want and take a step towards it every day and make sure it's aligned with everything else. Connect, become aware, awake, know what's influencing you. You know, I'm not going to go on about universal laws, but the law of attraction and vibration, they fall into creating and choosing and connecting and moving forward. You know, reach out, you know, talk to me about it, talk to others about it. It's fascinating, the impact on how you get what you want in life. You know, Bob Proctor and Think and Grow Rich, they talk about things being created twice, once in your mind and once in physical form. If we build a house, we're going to think about what we want, and then we're going to build it. That's like living life by design. And I want to end this with something that I really want for all of you. There's a song called Sweet Streams, and it's all about seeing. And it's about putting yourself, lift me up to a higher ground so I can see. The higher ground is your higher self. So I encourage you all, reach out if you'd like, continue the journey. But whatever, there's nothing, abundance is out there. It's all out there. When you choose what you want, that's enough. So there is enough out there for what you want. You just have to gain the courage and make the choice that you do want it. Thank you today. Thank you very much, Haley, for inviting me today. I hope there's something that's connected with one of you in here. I love my life and I love people, and I'm grateful I'm here to celebrate Haley on her birthday in North Carolina. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kim. I actually got a bunch out of that, so much so that I took notes and I made a list of the C's that have made you successful. And I'm going to post them right in the chat in Facebook of your create, choose, commit, and connect, because that was fantastic advice.
Yeah, it's sage navigation. That's what we do. And the 3 C's you get from doing this, which is really important, Melissa, is if you actually choose, you will end up with confidence. That's 1 C. And if you connect and take steps every day, you will have courage and clarity. Actually, you will have confidence and courage. And if you choose, you'll have clarity. So
awesome, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. If you could go in and reply on what I posted and put those C's, that would be awesome.
How do
I want to talk.
How do I do that?
Go ahead. Just go to the Facebook page.
Okay.
The WEN Facebook page, and you'll find the video and you'll see.
Thank you. I will.
You are so welcome. A couple things that Kim mentioned that I really wanted to bring up, and especially because, you know, Women's Entrepreneur Network, we're women, a lot of us are moms. And she talked about the story with her dad, and he instilled that entrepreneurship bug in her. And a lot of times we have no idea what's coming in the future. One of the best things that we can do is to instill that entrepreneurship bug into our kids. She also asked, how can I help? And when you start any relationship or connection with that question, you're going to create this pay it forward kind of energy that it will come back to you. So when she talked about everything you can have, everything you can be, it made me think to myself, well, how would I define myself? After I listened to Kim, how would I define myself and on the path that I'm going? So I want you to put in the chat, what is one word you would use to define yourself? And I found while Kim was talking, my word was determined. So go ahead and share in the chat what your word would be, because I would love to see what you're working on and what you're doing right now. Now we have someone else coming up. We've got Chanel Robe. She is going to be coming up to the stage. Welcome, Chanel. You are muted, girl, muted.
Hello, Melissa.
Welcome.
How are you doing? Thank you for having me.
Splendid. It's Friday.
Oh, yes. This is like my only call for the day. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. And then I'm off for the weekend.
Yes, let's do it. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. So we are going to hand the stage over to you. Thank you, Chanel. Welcome.
Thank you. And thank you to Haley for having me today. My name is Chanel Robe, and I help coaches to transform their program delivery so that they're able to get high client success rates while having the time to enjoy their lives to the fullest. Now, I've done this for a couple years, save people billions of hours, but it's not about me today. It's about me having a conversation with you, right? And so I wanted to actually start our conversation together by asking you a question. Do you operate your business as a country club or as a public park? And I would love to know, if you have time, to just drop it in the chat and let me know, which one do you think you're operating your business as, an exclusive country club or a public city park? And you may be wondering to yourself, Chanel, why would you ask such a weird question? That's a weird question to ask. What do you even mean by that? And the thing that I'll say to you is that the answer, Tim says she's already mind blown. The answer that you give to that question and the reality of your situation in your business is actually the secret to how you'll either have a business and clients that are overwhelming and stressing you out, not getting results, and you're not having the time to enjoy your life to the fullest, or B, you have thriving clients, a thriving business, plus you have time to enjoy the life that you have built, right? And somebody said I dropped a bomb. Now, the thing about it is that it's something for you to think about. But before you while you're thinking about it, I want to actually share a story with you, right? And I don't know about you, but one of the things I loved growing up is Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I don't know anybody who loves Fresh Prince, but I don't like the version that they did recently. I love the version with Will Smith in there. Uncle Phil, that was my thing. That was the thing that I just watched for fun. And the thing about it is that this Fresh Prince of Bel-Air sitcom is actually a prime example of living life and running a business as a country club versus running a business as a city park, right? Now, let's talk about it. If you remember, when Will first comes to Bel-Air, Will is from West Philadelphia, a whole different sort of culture. And he comes to Bel-Air, which is like a whole different sort of culture. It's for high society people. And so when Will lands at Uncle Phil's and Aunt Vivienne's house, it is no shock whatsoever that Will ends up in a situation where he's just not used to it, and therefore his behavioral patterns and everything relating to that is really, really out of this world, to the point where it frustrates his uncle, shocks his cousins, and his aunt keep having to beg his uncle, hey, have some patience with him, right? And some of the key examples that I actually remember from that first episode is when Will literally comes and knock at the door, and he's literally started to play like a little rhythm on the door while he's waiting for Jeffrey to come in, and Jeffrey is like, obviously this man is crazy, right? And then there's another point where he meets Uncle Phil and Aunt Vivienne for the first time. And it's like a whole situation where Will is using all of these slangs, and Uncle Phil is like, what did you say? What did you say? And Will is trying to explain himself to say that, hey, I don't mean anything bad by it. Here's what I actually mean. And then the final situation was when Will enters. Uncle Phil is hosting a dinner party for his partners and his high society neighbors, and Will just come down and just behave totally weird, to the fact where Uncle Phil is so frustrated, and he's trying his best as possible to get Will to conform to what how high society would behave and how his friends would expect, etc., because it's embarrassing. And I don't know for you, I think about sitting in Uncle Phil's shoes, and I think to myself, gosh, I would be a bit embarrassed too, and it would be frustrating and stressful and overwhelming for me to have to deal with somebody like that constantly. Now, to go back to the question that I started with in terms of, are you operating your business as a country club or as a regular city park? I'll ask you another question. Are you enrolling the clients that you're choosing to work with? Are they Wills of the world or Carltons of the world? And what do I mean by that? Are they people who are prepared and equipped to work with you and get results? Or, which is a Carlton, because they're used to the country club lifestyle? Or are they the Wills of the world who is literally stepping into a totally new situation that they're in no way, shape, or form prepared for? And the thing about it, I'm sure when I asked the question at the start, if you are a country club, or if your business is operating as a country club, or your business is operating as a park, your initial thing was to say, yes, Chanel, of course my business is operating as a country club, because who wouldn't want it? A country club is exclusive. It has all the niceness things going on. It's tuned to certain clans and etc. It's something that everybody aspires for. But the truth of it, the reality is that many of us are not operating our business in that way, shape, or form. We open up our businesses to everybody, to every single client that comes our way, as long as they solve the pain point, as long as they have the pain points that we solve, and they have a credit card that can actually pay our fees, right? And the funny thing about it is, because we're accepting city park clients like Wills all the time, even though they're not prepared to work with us, we end up like Uncle Phil as business owners. And the evidence of that you see in your business is you having meetings with your clients, and those meetings running very, very, very long, because you're always trying to firefight some issue that has come up, something that your client didn't tell you about and you learn about, and now you're running and scrambling trying to fix things, right? Or you're trying to get your clients to do the work, because even though you have presented to them every single thing that you think that they would need to succeed, they aren't doing the work, and you're frustrated and trying to figure out what is it that you need to change to get that to happen, right? Or it could be a case where they disengage, and you're trying to figure out how in the world do you actually get them to show up for calls? How in the world do you actually get them to just do what they have committed, and they're paying you to help them to get done, right? And then of course you may have clients who have churned, who have just decided that, you know what, this thing is too much for me, I'm gonna go off and go and just drop out. Hasta la vista to you, right? And that's how the Wills city park clients who aren't, and clients who you put into your country club, who are actually city park clients, behave, right? And the thing about it is, not only does that affect your client results, which in turn affect your retention rates, which in turn affects the referrals that you will get, which in turn affects the people that you will actually who they'll actually recommend to you. It also affects you, because you're so busy behaving like an Uncle Phil, you don't get to enjoy the life that you have worked so hard to create, right? You look at, if you think about it, in the situation with Uncle Phil, in that dinner situation, Uncle Phil was so busy trying to keep Will on track and keep Will doing what he needs to do and getting Will to behave normally, that Uncle Phil missed out on the opportunity to spend time with his family. He missed out on the opportunity to spend time with his friends. He missed out on the opportunity to just relax and engage what he has worked so hard for. And that's what happens to us as business owners, right? I work with coaches, but as business owners in general, when we are so focused on working with the wills of the world, when we're meant to work with Carltons who will get results in our program without us having to jump over every single hurdle you can ever think of, etc. Right? You don't have time for yourself. You go off on vacation and you don't even get a chance to relax on your vacation because you're thinking about business and you're thinking about that one client who just won't do what they need to do, right? You don't get time to spend time. You don't get to spend time with your family, etc., etc. And that's no way to live. You've worked hard to get where you are, and you deserve to not only serve clients and get results, but also to enjoy life, right? And so you may be wondering to yourself, Chanel, I realize I desire to have a country club. I desire to operate my business as a country club, but I'm currently operating at a city park where I have too many wills when I should actually be looking at enrolling Carltons. What can I do to actually turn this entire situation around? And I will say to you, there are two things. It's two things I know I tell all my clients, and that's two things I work with my clients around getting done. The first step is actually knowing what it takes for your clients to succeed with your service, to get results from your service or get results from your program. And what do I mean by that? It goes beyond knowing that a client has a certain mindset. It goes beyond knowing that a client is committed. It goes beyond just knowing that a client has the pain point that you solve. It goes beyond the client just being able to pay you. It goes into knowing, does the client have the ability to do the work that you know that you'll have to do in your program, right? It doesn't make sense for you to your program or your service to target a seasoned business owner to get certain things, getting systems, etc. And you're targeting or you're choosing the wills of that world, which would be the beginner, the business owners who are just beginning. They are at different stage in their journeys and will need different things from you, different things that they'll have to bring to the table in order to succeed, right? And so one of the first things you need to look at is their ability. Do they have the capability to succeed? Do they have the resources on hand to actually succeed, thrive, and get results from the service that you're offering to them? Or is it going to be a matter of because they're so unprepared and you enroll them anyway and then you decide to serve them, and then because you're so committed to your word and you're so focused on helping your clients to get results, you're going to end up having to overwork and overextend to actually get them to where you need to get to. So that's the first step, is actually ensuring that you know what it takes for your clients to succeed in your service, with your service or in your program. The second step, this is the final step, is to then, once you have defined what you need to do, what that criteria is for your best fit client, you then look at where you can actually incorporate that information, those criterion into your marketing, into when you're screening your clients at enrollments, because not every client who comes to you, no matter how much, as we said, not because they can pay you mean that they're a good fit for you, right? So you'll have to screen them at enrollment, and therefore you get a chance to also set expectations around what it will actually take, and you're able to vet them to see that they can actually keep up, right? And so that is how, with those two things in place, you'll actually get clients into your program who are prepared, clients into your program or in your service, whatever service that you offer, who are prepared and equipped to work with you. They're fabulous Carltons, prepared for your country club experience in your business. And not only are they prepared, but they will actually get the results that you set out to help them to get. And you will benefit from all of that because now you get back the time to enjoy the life that you have created for yourself. So I think my thing for you in terms of ending, I'll say, what is one thing that you'll actually take away from this? Where are you in reality? I know we started, it was like, hey, are you operating as a country club or are you operating as a city park, right? And we know that answer normally comes from the fact that, hey, that's where we want to be. In listening to me and engaging with me today and thinking about it, where would you say you fall today? Are you operating as a country club who's just allowing everybody in? Are you operating as a country club that's behaving like a city park? And based on you knowing where you are, somebody said it took them a long time to get to your car. And I'm excited for you that you're finding your Carltons and that you're working with your Carltons, because that means you're working with people who get results without you having to overwork and without you having to sacrifice the other areas of your life that are equally important, if not more important, right? And I mean, if you find that you're behaving in the opposite, where you are still working with a lot of wills, take those steps today. Take those steps today and start becoming very intentional about enrolling Carltons, because those are the ones who will get the results, and they're also the ones who will actually allow you to reclaim the time to show up in the other areas of your life, right? And so that is it from me today. Thank you for taking the time to listen to Moa and engage with Moa. And if you're interested in contacting me, you can actually reach out to me on Facebook. I'm always on Facebook. I wouldn't say I'm always on Facebook, but I'm on Facebook, right? Chanel Robe. That's my name there. Or you can actually go to my website, therobeway.com. And on that note, that is it from me today. Have a great, great day. And Melissa and Haley, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for you. I literally was sitting here mind blown. I'm like, ooh, that is such a great way to put it. Country club or private park. And how many entrepreneurs stay in the private park for too long because they don't have their own mindset right. So you just hit the nail right on the head. So, and then you said to screen them at enrollment, and that is brilliant. You know, you should have a disqualification process for clients because not everyone is ready to work with you.
Exactly.
So I look at the I call it the whoa. It's the W, you know, who are they? And are you specific enough in your niche, right? Are you drilling down enough so you know exactly who they are? Are they hungry enough to take action? Because like you said, if they fail, it makes you look bad. And why would we want to fill our country club with a bunch of people that are going to leave litter on the golf fields or the golf greens, right?
Or can't even play the golf.
So, right.
Can't use the facilities.
They need to be obsessed with the result. They need to have that solution that you have. And if they're obsessed, they're going to want to work with you, and they need to be affluent enough to afford your offer. Not everyone can join the country club, and there's a reason for that, because there's levels to it. And I know that people get, when they're dealing with a bunch of wills, it's easy to get discouraged, but just know you'll eventually get to your Carltons, right? You just got to work with Chanel. Chanel, can you please put a link for them to reach out to you in the chat? It would be great to make it easy for them to find you on Facebook and your website.
I most definitely will. And I mean, even we're almost out of time. I'll just say that even in terms of what you said before, it's also very, very important as well that you're actually considering what it actually takes to get those results, right? Because a lot of times you'll find the people who are ready and committed, but if they don't have what it takes in terms of the resources or the abilities and the capabilities to thrive, then you're just taking in people who are going to be doing the work. And we hear that a lot. Business owners say clients are doing the work, but they're not getting the results and so forth, which is another thing in that respect as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. This was a great eye opener, I bet, for a lot of people that are watching. So thank you. Thank you.
Having
All
me.
right, we're actually right on time. This is beautiful. I don't know that I've ever been in an event or on an event where we're not late, we're not early. It is 1:40, and we have the lovely Diana Devi here with us to share with us. And I'm just gonna put her right on. Welcome, Diana. Thanks for being here on Friday.
Thanks for having me. So I want to jump in. I got lots to share. So one of the first places to begin, and I talk a lot about anti-aging and how that impacts all of us. And just to get a real gauge of where things are, in America last year, the US, we spent over $60 billion on preparations and things that we could do for anti-aging. And I'm not talking about lasers or any of those kinds of things. I'm talking about more on the cosmetic line. And that's a lot of money, and it's expected to grow 25% over the next couple of years. And I want to talk a little bit about Anna. So Anna called me the other day. She had walked into the bathroom. She looked in the mirror and she went, man, I need to get my eyes tested. I'm seeing double. But maybe I ought to put my glasses on before I make that decision. So she puts her glasses on. She looks in the mirror again and she goes, I'm not seeing double. I am double. We got double chin, double jowls, double crow's feet, these little double lines here. And she was just absolutely shocked. How did that happen and when did it happen? So she did what we all do, which is you grab your 10 magnifying mirror and you closely examine every single thing that's happening because you want to know, okay, how bad is it? Where did it start? What else is going on? What am I missing? What is it that's there that is going to be popping up and showing in the next day or week or whatever time period? And I don't want to be surprised. And she started thinking, this kind of happened to me with my pants. I took them to the dry cleaner and I put them on and they were tight at the waist. And I just thought they shrunk until I looked in the mirror and went, it's not shrinking of the pants. Same thing here. She looked in the mirror. She saw the double chin. So what did she do after she thoroughly examined those areas? She went into the bathroom, into her lotions and potions drawer. And we all have one of these. She opened it up and looked inside. And then there she had the things for the crepey skin on the neck. She had the stuff for the circles underneath the eyes. She had the stuff that's supposed to help with the sagging skin, the morning routine, the night routine. And she just looked at it and just sighed. It's not working. It wasn't doing anything for her. And her situation is not unusual because what we see especially with regard to these agents, is that they fall into one of three categories. One is they don't work. Number two, and this one actually is kind of surprising, they can actually age you more rapidly. Pretty shocking. And the third thing is what you need may not be what you put on your skin. It may be something else. And it's hard to figure out what it is and to know which one of those it is. So let me start with the first one and things that don't work. And I'll use one really common example. Joan was taking collagen and putting collagen on her skin. So everybody knows about collagen in the skin and that you have collagen and elastin that make up underneath the skin that gives it the fullness and the plumpness. As we get older, we produce less collagen. So it makes sense to add collagen, right? So she had a cream that she was putting on that contained collagen. Well, the best analogy I can use as to why collagen doesn't work on the skin is it's like trying to back a semi into a parking spot that's designed for a compact car. It doesn't work because it doesn't penetrate through the skin. So you can save your money on those creams and lotions and potions that contain collagen because your skin cannot absorb them. The other thing that she was doing was she was taking collagen tablets. Now these were, I swear, they were probably the size of this part of my thumb. Huge, very difficult to swallow. And unfortunately, she had gotten a bug and discovered that they were not being dissolved at all, going straight through her, which is not unusual for a tablet, because after all, they press it together in order to get it to stay there. And it's sometimes difficult for that to loosen up so that you can absorb it. So we switched her over to a collagen, that hydrolyzed collagen, one that she could put in her drink and drink every morning. And she noticed a difference. Now, it wasn't an immediate difference. And for her, the difference came when she noticed that she wasn't as achy when she got up in the morning. She felt better. And eventually, she started to notice some differences in the quality of her skin. So that's a prime example of it not working. The second one I want to talk about is things that can actually aid you. And I'll use Maria as an example. She was using 2 things in the morning and 3 things at night for her skin. And she couldn't figure out what was going on because her skin looked ashen, the wrinkles looked even deeper. And in looking at the ingredients and what was in them, there were actually things that can cause you to age more rapidly. The preservatives and perfumes can be irritating to your skin, or they may contain some chemicals that, when absorbed, cause inflammation. Just so you know, when you have inflammation, that means that your body doesn't do the rest to repair and restore. Basically, can't fix all the stuff that's gone wrong all during the day. And it makes you age more. You have more wrinkles. We're going to have wrinkles as we get older, and they're kind of a rite of passage, but I don't know about you, but I want a certain amount, but not too many. And then the third example I want to talk about is regard to Stacy. Stacy has a job that is extremely stressful. She absolutely loves it, but she noticed that she wasn't able to get sleep. And when I say wasn't able to get enough sleep, I'm talking 5 to 6 hours of sleep a night at the most. She prioritized everything else in her life around getting done what she needed to, rather than getting enough sleep. She was doing all of the other right things as far as that's concerned. She was drinking water. She was, doing exercise, those kinds of things, but not enough sleep. And sleep is one of the most important things that you can do in order to control your aging. It makes it so that your body, again, during the nighttime is when, I think of it as when it takes out the trash. We decide when we're going to recycle. You keep the things that the body can use, and you toss the things that your body can't use or don't want around. Now, if you don't get enough sleep, those wires get crossed. And sometimes you throw away things that you need to keep, and sometimes you keep things that you should throw away. So those are 3 examples of what can happen. And, looking at what it is that you do and how you do it and when you do it is important. Now, you're kind of going, okay, at this point, she's told me a lot of stuff, and what's her background? Why is she an expert on this? And part of it is because it's my story. So at 50, I went to the physician when I was tired. My skin was not aging well. I didn't feel good. They ran a series of lab tests. She came back in the room. She sat down. She looked right into my eyes and said, "You're getting older, and you just have to get used to it." Well, I'm a pharmacist by training, and I was not willing to accept that. It actually made me mad. It kind of fueled me just a bit in order to figure out what was happening. So I started on my quest to figure it out. And I was also an Argentine tango instructor at the time, as well as working in the pharmacy. And I would have students that would come to me and they would go, "Okay, now I'm here for a tango lesson, but can you tell me what it is that you're doing that is changing the way that you look and feel?" And thus I got into it. So wanting to communicate to you that there is so much that you can do in order to change the way that you age. And it's not vain or shallow to think about it that way. Think about when you meet someone. the first impression that you make is by your appearance, and much of it is about your face. And if you don't feel comfortable or confident in the way that you look, it shows up. We've all seen people that are kind of, when you meet them, they're kind of like this, right? They're kind of drawn back. You can tell they're not really interested in meeting people or getting to know someone, or we deem it as being shy. Versus if you're in a business setting or you're in something that you're networking or you want to meet people, being able to say, here I am, I'm comfortable in what I am and who I am, makes a big difference, because that confidence is shown up to what they see, and that makes them more likely to want to interact with you, to hire you, to talk with you, and begin to build the bridge that you need in order to have a relationship. And this is true in the personal world. You know, it might be that you go someplace and you want to learn how to do something. Maybe you want to learn how to play a game, or you're at a book club, or it might be that you're at a new networking event. The way that you look and how you feel about the way that you look definitely comes across in the way that people see you, and what that is like in your feeling, but also how they're going to want to interact with you. And it might be too that you want to go play with your grandchildren, and you don't want your grandchildren to be ashamed of the way that you look, and that's your thinking, not their thinking. So understanding that, number one, genetics plays a role, but it's a really small role. There is so much that you can do, things on the inside, things on the outside, and that feeling good and confident is something that is within your grasp. Now, does that mean that you're not going to have to work? You're going to have to do a little bit of work, and changing your approach, or maybe what it is that you do. Looking at, for example, the ingredients on something before you actually put it on your skin. Reading the ingredients on a bottle before you, like a sauce or whatever it is that you purchase that might be for groceries. And understanding that, remember, your skin is the largest organ in your body. So what you put on it can actually be absorbed into it, and it may not be intentional. I can think of 5 medications off the top of my head that are used with the patch that you put on the skin: birth control, pain medications, anti-nausea medications, hormone therapy. All of those are through the skin. So being really aware about what it is that you put on your skin is a great place to start. And I want you to know that you can do something. Regardless of where you are now, you can do something, you can make a difference. And all you have to do is start. And starting can be easier than you think. Starting can be as simple as water. Drinking enough water, having enough hydration that you're able to really think clearly. If you think about it in a way like a prune versus a plum. A prune is a dried up plum, right? So you can think about it as far as a motivation in order to drink more water, because some of us need actually to have that motivation. Am I wanting to be a prune? Am I wanting to be a plum? And of course, we all want to be the plum, the rosy skin, all of those kinds of things. Hydration inside and out is the key. So I'll want to just do a little bit of a review now, just to kind of take you through some of the things that we talked about a lot here. And I want to make sure that you really understand how much it is that you can do and how easy it is to start. And that's understanding the cosmetic industry is big. It's only going to get bigger. And by the way, what they say they can do versus what actually they can do are 2 different things. And just because it costs a lot doesn't mean it's going to work. Some of the products that I find that work the best actually cost a fraction of the very expensive ones. There are, so they don't work. That's one. Number 2, they actually age you more. So looking at what it is that you're putting on, and do you have sensitivities to that? Number 3, what else is it that you're doing? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting some exercise? And understanding that sleep is really important. That's when your body resets everything. And the funny thing about it is, if you don't get enough sleep, a lot of times you'll reach for some kind of food, primarily sweets or carbs, in order to give you the energy to push you through the rest of the day. And Stacy found that when she actually got sleep, her diet improved and she lost weight without even really trying to. And that's because she cut out eating the sweets at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon that she was using to push her through the day. So, and then understanding that there is something that you can do. It is not hopeless. I hope that you found some of this information useful. I'll give you a place where you can get a hold of me. It's you can catch me on Facebook. I'm on YouTube at the Diana Devi, on Diana at an Ageless Life if you want to reach me there, and agelesslife.com if you want to reach me there, Facebook. But knowing that, especially with the holidays coming up, and today is December 2nd, you can make a difference in 22 days. You can do something and really change the way you look and feel. Is it going to be a major change? Maybe, depending upon where you're starting from and also what your approach is. So I just want to say thanks for that. And I'll let you take it away, Melissa. Thanks for having me. This has been so much fun. Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Thank you so much. I felt like you were talking to me when you were talking about Stacy, because I'm like, I get excited when I go to set my alarm and it tells you how much sleep you're going to get. And if I see anything over 5 hours, I am immediately just like, oh, this is fantastic. So that was huge. And I love how you talked about, and it's not superficial, and it is really about building up your confidence by taking care of yourself, right? People want to do business with successful people. Successful people take care of themselves. When you take care of yourself, you look and feel better, which turns to self-worth, and then that's confidence, and confidence turns to clients. So everything you do, right? Money.
Yeah.
So everything that you're doing is exactly what, especially us women, need to be able to grow our business without feeling bad because we want to look good, right? We were born women, and we can take advantage of all of the things that we have.
It's not shallow. It's not shallow.
It's not shallow. It's not shallow at all. It's important. It's important. And you think about, it's as simple as how society has trained us. You know, how do you feel about yourself when you eat a hamburger, unless you're craving, iron and stuff, compared to how you eat a salad? You know, how proud are you when you pick up your, your greens or your reds? In your mind, you're saying, I'm taking care of me. This is so good of me. And it just boosts your own self-value, and people see it and feel it. So, and you look amazing. You're absolutely gorgeous. Your skin is gorgeous. So
well,
this woman is a pro.
One of the things that I meant to say is that there's not much of a filter on StreamYard versus Zoom. And I am 66 years old.
Amazing. So if you could drop your YouTube channel, please drop your YouTube channel. I think that it would be great for people to be able to get some of your content, and then they can reach out to you. Thank you so much for being with us, Diana. We appreciate you taking up part of your Friday to educate us on how we can look better, feel better, and do better.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Definitely fun. All right. So again, right on time. And I see Jenny is already queued up. Hi, Jenny. How are you?
I'm good. I don't know why I'm so dark. There, is that a little better? I'm great. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yo, you're so welcome. Thanks for being here. I'm going to go ahead and hand the stage over to you. You get an extra maybe 30 seconds. Today is Jeni Snider. Thank you, Jenny. Take it away.
Oh, thank you so much. So yes, I'm Jeni Snider with Snider Law PLLC here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm an estate planning attorney. And so today I wanted to spend my 20 minutes talking about some of the things to make sure that, as we end this year and go into 2023, that we're really setting ourselves up personally and business wise with the best foundation for the best success as we go forward. So, oftentimes I'm called upon to walk my clients through what it would look like in their family when they can't make their own decisions, right? When you're incapacitated, when, whether it's through illness or injury or permanently, and then through death, who would take care of your children? What happens to your stuff? And as business owners, this becomes crucial because we need to figure out how the business is going to keep running. We've got employees to pay. We have third-party vendors, distributors, landlords. We have customers and clients to serve. And so when we're all excited about starting our business and running our business, but part of the foundation of our business is really to take that time to think, okay, now what happens if I'm not at the helm and I can't make the decisions or pay the people that need to get paid, right? So it's really taking the time when we're still healthy and still okay to make those decisions, really think through about what your goals are for your business and start there, start with the end in mind, and then backtrack it to today, whether you're starting your business today or you've already been in your business for a while. If you haven't taken the time to think those things through, I invite you to do that now, because really there's no time like the present, since we really just don't know what's going to happen to us and our businesses. And honestly, even if it's something that happens to a loved one and we just need to step away from our business for a short time to grieve, we really need to have systems in place so that our business has that continuity. And especially if you plan on selling your business at some point, right? Because at some point, if you want to step away from your business, even if you have capacity to retire or go on vacation, you want to make sure that your systems are really solid. So with that, I'd love to spend the rest of my time talking about what makes a super solid foundation in a business, and so that you can see where the holes might be in your own business and fill those holes in going forward. So the first one, I call it the 4 core, right? The first one is legal, right? The law. As a lawyer, I'm going to put myself first. And the first thing that we do when we set up a business is we have a legal entity. And whether you filed something with the Secretary of State or not, you have a legal entity as soon as you go into business. But when you go through the process of registering your business as an LLC or a corporation, what you're really doing is creating a bubble around your own assets so that your business is completely separate from you. And that if there is a lawsuit, your own personal finances and assets are going to be protected. However, this protection is only so good as you maintain the corporate formalities for your business. So just make sure you understand that it's not a one and done, I filed and I'm good. There are annual requirements with the Secretary of State, and every state might have a little different requirements. So just make sure that you know what is required for your type of business entity and in your state. And I invite you to please always maintain those corporate formalities, because if you do get sued, the first thing they're going to look at is, hey, do you treat your business like a business, or is it kind of your own personal bank account? And if that's the case, they're going to do what's called, pierce the corporate veil and suddenly open your individual personally owned assets to your creditors if there's a lawsuit. So we just don't want that. And if you're running your business as a sole proprietorship, really, you have to consider that you've never even created the separation between your business and yourself. So you may want to consider doing that, as we end this year and into the new year, say, hey, what is my vision for my business? Because right now, if it's just you and there is no formal separation, all of your assets are at risk. And also, if you want to scale your business at some point, if it's owned as a sole proprietorship, it's like selling yourself. You need to act a separate entity that you would be able to sell. And then once you get that legal entity all set up, you also need to think about the other legal aspects of your business. You have employees. You want to have employee contracts. If you need non-competes, you need to have those in place. I have a colleague who loves to tell the story of the company that used their favorite lawyer, Mr. Google, Esquire, and they got some language online that, that looked like a non-compete, and they drafted it in and everybody signed it, and it that the clause was actually against themselves. And so now legally, they're not allowed to compete with their employees when the employees leave. And of course, as you can imagine, they're involved in multiple lawsuits, and they're trying to convince the courts that, oops, we didn't mean it that way, and you should disregard our language. So we don't want to rely on Mr. Google, and we definitely don't want to rely on hopes and prayers to run our business, really where we're really looking to avoid court time, which is very expensive, and conflict, which is extremely stressful and potentially can affect the longevity of your business. So you want to have, employee manuals, you want to have systems in place, you want to have contracts with all of your third-party vendors, with your landlord. None of this wink, wink, nudge, nudge stuff. You really don't want to rely on trusting somebody because we just don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And sometimes when things go awry, that's where, people's claws come out. And also with your business partners, you want to make sure to have in place partnership agreements, operating agreements, because really upfront when you're setting up your business, or right now if you're already in business, this is the time when you're not in conflict to think about some of the things that might happen, some scenarios that you might want to walk through now so that you don't wait until there's conflict and learn the hard way that you're not on the same page. In addition, you want to also have contracts or agreements in place with all your clients and customers, and really document that relationship from the very beginning. Recently, I heard a story about a flooring company that was hired to restore some flooring. And they pointed out to the homeowners that there's some of the flooring that cannot be restored. It would have to be replaced. And at the end of this sort of flooring restoration where that damage was still there, they actually tried to sue the flooring company, saying that they had caused that damage. But because the employees had documented from the beginning with very detailed notes and photographs of the floor before, during, and after the job, when they got sued, they were able to show that documentation and get that lawsuit thrown out. And it's also another way to decide whether or not you're going to allow a lawsuit to go forward. Because if you see conflict in the horizon, if you review your notes about that customer or client and you see that, oops, you really did do something wrong, you are going to be in a position to offer, to either refund their money or make them whole or fix it in some way. But if you see that the evidence shows that you're completely fine, you've not done anything wrong, then you're much more likely to go ahead, go forward, and allow them to maybe create that conflict, knowing that you're going to be able to resolve it in your favor. So just, thinking about those legal aspects. Same thing with, who owns your intellectual property? Are you protecting your trademarks? Do you have terms of use and privacy policies on your website? Who's creating your website content and who owns it? Very important to figure that out and have that in writing so that you know and avoid that conflict. The next core piece of your foundation for your business is your insurance. I've heard it said that insurance means I love you, which I'm not 100% sure that's what I want to hear from a loved one. But I do think there's actually some truth to that. I recently I have pet insurance and had to bring my little dog to NC State Animal Hospital. And I was able to get her a lot better care because the insurance was going to pick up 90% of the bill. So rather than having a $5,000 bill, when I'm looking at $500, I can make different decisions based on the insurance coverage that I have. So when you're looking at insurance, there are so many different types out there. We're so familiar, obviously, with auto insurance, home insurance, renter's insurance if you don't own your home, health insurance, life insurance. Making sure, by the way, with life insurance, the ultimate I love you to family members, make sure you're not underinsured. And that goes for all the different insurance products out there. Make sure that you're adequately insured. If I see a client makes, $500,000 a year, has 5-year-old children, and has $150,000 in term life insurance, I'm not so sure that that is really going to cover the needs of their spouse and their children going forward long term. So when you're thinking of insurance, not just do you need it, but also do you have adequate coverage for what's going to come into your life. So you're also looking at potentially disability insurance, long-term care insurance. If you do have business partners, you can actually fund that buy-sell agreement with buy-sell insurance. There can be key man insurance. You're looking at workers' comp. You're looking at so many different insurance products out there, errors and omission, malpractice. So you really want to get educated around what's available to you, what do you need, and at what levels. And ultimately, I always recommend an umbrella policy, and you can have one both personally and for your business, in addition to any business liability or business property insurance, so that you are adequately covered in case conflict does arise. Sometimes we can't plan for everything. Someone slips, falls, car accident, things like that. We really just don't know what's going to happen in our lives. So protecting ourselves in the best way we know how, and really building that foundation for our business, is really top priority as you go forward. Because ultimately, if you build a mansion on a foundation meant for a mobile home, eventually your business is going to get too big for that foundation and everything's going to crumble, right? So if you don't have the proper insurance or legal forms in place, and a big lawsuit comes through, then you can actually end up losing everything that, and that could have been avoided with the proper foundation. And then the next one would be finances. So a lot of us are guilty of sort of looking at the revenue, thinking, okay, I'm looking at my bank account. We call this bank account accounting, right? It's like making sure that I can afford this. I can afford this new employee, this piece of equipment, this upgrade, this new location, because I see that the balance in my bank account can cover this expense. We don't want to be doing this. We want to really be relying on actual business reporting and financials, profit and loss statements, and regular meetings with our financial advisors and bookkeepers to make big business decisions. And this obviously, all of this goes for personal as well. If you can afford that vacation or not, or the bigger house, you want to make sure that you're making decisions based on real financial reporting and not checkbook accounting. And speaking of bookkeepers, I was once given wonderful advice to hire a bookkeeper right off the bat. A lot of us think, well, my business is too small, or I'll wait. And then suddenly you get too busy in the business, and now you've got to take time to hire a bookkeeper, and that bookkeeper has to clean up a big mess. So I really love the advice of hiring a bookkeeper as soon as you can, or at least having very, very solid bookkeeping capabilities, so that it doesn't ever get to be a mess. Because the next step, the next core piece of the foundation is your taxes. And if you keep really good financials and you're on top of what's going on in your business, then you can go ahead and properly prepare for and pay for your taxes. Most of us, we're always hearing about the IRS and tax evasion and people not paying their taxes. And of course, do not avoid paying your taxes. But most of us are actually guilty of overpaying our taxes. We're really not taking the deductions that are open to us and our businesses. The IRS actually really loves entrepreneurs, and they love self-starters who are willing to take on that risk. They give us a lot of deductions that, are available to us that are not available to W-2 employees. So it's really making sure that you're maximizing the deductions that you're allowed to take. You cannot rely just on your CPA at the end of the year when they're really busy to make those deductions for you. If you keep track of the financials throughout the year and regularly meet with your tax advisor so that they can let you know what you should be tracking throughout the year to properly deduct all of your available tax deductions, then you can really set yourself up to pay adequate taxes. That really is something that I always encourage my clients to do. I want you to pay taxes, but I want you to pay adequate taxes, not extra. And so really keeping all of those in mind as you create the foundation of your business is really important. And I call it the 4 cores. So when you look at the foundation, there are really 4 advisors that you need to make sure that you're creating these the foundations properly. We can't know everything. And actually, one of the earlier speakers said that all you need is a little nugget of information that you can help grow. And I absolutely love that piece, because all you really need to know is you need to pay taxes. Now I know I've got to go and find out who knows more than me about paying taxes for my business or in my personal life. And I'm going to go and either learn from them or hand them the job to do for me for a fee. So you're looking at your lawyers, right? Your estate planning attorneys. If you don't have an estate plan in place, I cannot stress enough how important that is, especially if you're in business, because your business would go through probate and ultimately would be owned by family members that may or may not know how to run your business and may actually go to minor children. And obviously they can't inherit, and that looks like a really big mess for the family and for any guardians, especially if you have business partners. So we want to avoid all of that and have a really comprehensive estate plan in place. So you're looking at estate planning attorney, probably a business attorney. And by the way, attorneys are kind of like doctors. You know better than to go to a knee surgeon for open heart surgery. We just wouldn't do that. And yet lawyers are kind of like, oh, you're a lawyer, you know the answer. Well, the law is an extremely vast chasm of just lots of information that is ever changing. And so really, I recommend that you don't just say, okay, that's my one lawyer and they're going to do everything for me. It really is figuring out, again, the nugget, piece of information, and then go and find the expert in that field. Your estate planner, your business attorney, maybe a trademark attorney, your litigation attorney, if it turns out you're getting sued, your M&A attorney, if you want to combine businesses or grow. So really, you want to make sure that you're going to somebody who is an expert in their field. It's very niche right now. So I encourage you to not think of your lawyer as one person. And the same goes for your insurance agent. You may end up having more than one because your malpractice or your life insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your car, your health insurance, those might have to be with different companies and different people. And so it really is a category of people, but certainly really getting educated around what kind of brokers and what kind of products you need is really important. And then with finance, the same thing, because you're going to want your financial advisors to help you see where you are today and where you want to go. Make sure that you're saving enough for retirement, or that you can really afford the expansion or whatever change in your business, hiring somebody, et cetera. And also your bookkeeper, right? And so those are just two of the financial advisors that I would recommend that you have at a minimum. And then your tax attorney, tax advisor, CPA for that tax piece. So I think that really, if you go into 2023 with that in mind and really use this month to set yourself up for the best success possible in 2023 and grow your business on that solid foundation, because once you have that, you've really maximized you keeping yourself out of court and out of conflict. And should conflict arise, you not only have very few holes in your foundation, but you've also established really strong ties with the advisors you would have to go to resolve that conflict quickly and in the least expensive way possible. I also created, I know I've got about a minute left. I wanted to invite you. You can certainly check out my website, ncsniderlaw.com. There's some information there about what I do and the estate planning work that I do and who I am. And also, if you go to ncsniderlaw.com/business, I have actually created a little sort of mini self-assessment quiz for you so that you can see in each of those core areas how solid your foundation is, and that you can, I've done it so there's 10 questions in each, and it's very much like yes or no. And then what I invite you to do is see where you're weak, and until you get a 10 out of 10, keep those nuggets in mind and go and grow those. I would say keep the seeds, right, and grow those trees and really build that solid foundation so that your business can really be maximized. And whatever vision that you have for your business, it can be achieved in the least resistance possible. So that's ncsniderlaw.com/business. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenny. Please, please, please put that link in the chat, and because it's so important with entrepreneurs. We don't always think about business insurance, right, as coaches, as intangible service providers, but there are things that we could easily be sued for that we're not thinking about. And you literally just gave us a tool that can help self-assess. So that tool in the chat would be amazing. Yes. Thank you. There was so much information there. My head is like, so I need to do the assessment.
Yes, I absolutely. You know, as I said, no one's going to know your answers, right? This is just, you know,
Right, right.
you can print it out. No one's going to know, but don't have, you know, and that's the biggest thing I would say. The last piece is don't have shame around it. You know, if you're not,
Right.
if you haven't paid your quarterly taxes yet, you know, definitely pay them before January 15th. But if you haven't paid them, if you are behind, if your finances don't look good, don't have shame because we all worry about whether or not it's enough, or, you know, people are going to judge us. It really is about just owning yourself now, seeing where your vision is, and really getting the advisors that are going to get you there. And I know there's so many coaches in this group who are going to help people get to where they want to be. So that's why I love this group. I think Women's Entrepreneurial Network is awesome. So thank you.
It is awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And again, I feel like I want to celebrate. We are on time again, and I am so excited. Everyone has been giving such good information I feel like this whole speaker lineup was created for me. And I've been talking to my business partner on the side, and he literally said, it's like they're talking right to us. So keep it going, guys. Vivienne Joy, please tell me what else I need to know.
Hi, Melissa. Well, I don't know. I don't know what you need to know. And, you know, very often people don't know what they need to know. So thank you for that introduction. I'll do my best to give you information and help you understand yourself. Because many times we simply don't understand what's going on in our own head. So I'm a mindset reset expert. What does that really mean? It means I help you to understand what's going on in your head so that you can decide whether you keep it, you change it, you reset it, or you simply let it go. And so I deal with money as a first thing for business owners, especially women, because for some reason we prefer to serve and not sell. And this comes down to quite a lot of the conditioning we had as children around our own worth and how we manage that and how we feel about ourselves. So the first question I want to ask you, and if you're watching this live or on replay and you want to do this work for yourself, is you definitely need a pad and pen. And I want to ask you what direction your mind is set for. Is your mind set for success and making money and making impact? Or is it set for safety and staying the same and fitting in? Because very often you will serve safety. In fact, every time you will serve safety. And the only time you will move forward into your progressive part of your business is when it feels safer to do so. Very often that's why we're looking for different skills, and we're looking for reassurance and confirmation from outside of ourselves so that we feel safer to take a step forward. So if you're somebody who is stuck and a bit kind of self-sabotagey and a bit procrastinating, then you will keep yourself in that comfort zone. And that is normal. The comfort zone is the safe place. It's a place where we don't have to take any risks. We're not going to be unsafe, and everything stays the same. Even if it's not what we like, it's what we know. So which direction is your mind set for? Because if it is set for safety, you will hear yourself saying things like, oh no, they won't pay that for me. Oh, they won't spend that money with me. Oh, I'm not as good as them. They are better than I am. They're more qualified. Oh, I couldn't possibly be that visible. I couldn't possibly talk to a completely blank screen to possibly hundreds, thousands, whoever knows how many people, without knowing how it's being handled, without knowing how it's going to hit. You'll find yourself thinking, I can't afford things. I don't deserve things. I'm not good enough. I'm not doing what I should. They're much better than me. If you're hearing all this sort of self-talk, this comes from a belief set that you laid down many, many years ago for some of you. I know I only look 21, but I'm 50. And actually how I got into this is I had the worst money mindset of anybody I've ever coached till now, literally. And my parents were both compulsive gamblers. So I was born into this family of compulsive gambling. And what that meant was there was never really money for the things that would have made me feel more worthy. So gifts weren't very good at Christmas and birthdays and holidays. And well, food was the cheapest and not the best. My mother didn't really want to be at home. She wanted to be out. And so as much as I wasn't malnourished and I didn't go without, I definitely didn't have the upbringing of knowing how valuable everything else in the world was, apart from spending money. And so, of course, what did that do to me? I followed the demonstration of my parents. I became them. And I myself had a compulsive gambling addiction. And that addiction took away from everything else I achieved in the world. So I had 6-figure salaries, real massive success with multi-million-pound companies where I was at the helm, I was the managing director. But actually, I still had this going in the background. And so the background values and the background beliefs are what are running the show for you. So even if you come into a training or you get lots of live information, you will still have that belief set sitting in the background that could keep you stuck. So I'm going to ask you some questions today that hopefully will help you to get a bit unstuck, to help you to reset a bit. So wouldn't that be good? Because if you're not moving forward, there is a reason. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you haven't got time. I'll let you into a secret here. It's never that you haven't got time. You'll say it's that you haven't got time, because that's what we say when we're trying to avoid things. I can't afford it and I haven't got time are the excuses we make for everything. But it's not true. Because if something is really valuable, we definitely afford it and we definitely make time. And I'll give you some really simple examples of this. Like, I really like my teeth. My world is my teeth. I smile a lot. People see me a lot. I'm sure you resonate if you care about your teeth. I never think, yeah, I haven't got time to brush my teeth today. Yeah, I'll do that on Wednesday. I'll actually, I haven't got time to do that. Oh, I didn't do it this morning. Oh, well, it'll be okay. I'll do it next week. Because it's really valuable to me. I like how my teeth feel when they're clean. I like how my breath smells. It's all really important. So time we spend on things that are valuable to us. And if we're not spending time on our business, something about it isn't valuable. And money, well, if I go out to my car tomorrow morning and I have a flat tire and I have to get somewhere important, I don't think, be okay. I'll get to the tire when I can afford it. I'll save up. I'll do it next month. Maybe I'll do it the month after. No, I need to do it now and I will find the money because I can't go anywhere without that car working. So can't afford it and haven't got time are the excuses we use when we're scared or it's not valuable enough. So there's 3 reasons we don't do things. Number 1, fear. We've got a belief around it that means that we're staying stuck. It's not valuable enough, i.e. maybe your partner earns enough money or you have enough money sitting in a bank account somewhere or you own your house. So actually earning money isn't a bigger deal. It's like just a want to have or nice to have and not a must have, because the must have, you will make it happen. Or it could be that the impact you'd like to make with your business, you don't really understand that. You don't understand the difference you can make in people's lives. So as you can see, I run here the She Enjoys Life Foundation, and this is the not-for-profit part of my business, which is called She Enjoys Business. And the reason I call it that is because most women don't enjoy their business. They're scared, they feel like they're not good enough, and they're stuck. And actually, you have to get yourself out of that part. You have to get that part done. You have to get yourself out of your own way, because if it's really valuable, you will do it. And the third reason, so first is about the beliefs and values. The second is how valuable it is to you is not important enough. You might want to make impact. For me, making impact is a massive deal. I will do anything. I'll be here. It's 7:30 in the evening in the UK on a Friday, and I've been delivering a 4-hour workshop all day. But today it's important for me because the impact I can make on helping women to really be the best and create their legacy and really get out of their own way is important. The third reason is skill. And now this is the one we also blame. So we say we haven't got enough money, we say we haven't got enough time, and we say, well, we just don't know how to do it. People say, Vivienne, well, I would do full-on email marketing campaigns, but I just don't know how to use the tech. It's not the reason. Because, well, I'm sure if you're like me, you've spent hundreds and thousands on training courses, workshops, masterclasses. You'll go on free challenges, podcasts, this kind of thing, watching people speak to try and help you. So you possibly do know how. But of course, I don't know how is another great reason, along with those other 2, for these key reasons why we don't get out of our own way. And it's not true. So the questions. I wonder how your life would be different. I want you to just imagine now how your life would be different if you didn't have any past fears, like there was no conditioning around all of the essential parts of business, the sales, the marketing, the strategy, getting your mind set for success and making money and making impact and making a difference. Imagine that there were no limitations, no limiting beliefs. You had no preconceived knowledge about this. And also, it was absolutely imperative. It was vital for you to create this business. Absolutely non-negotiable, have to do it. And somebody came and gave you all the skills in step by step, quick as you like, you can get on and do it. I want you to imagine that version of you who has no fear, completely values whatever she's doing, and has all the skills and determination and confidence to move forward. What a great feeling that would be. Who is that version of you? Who would that version be? You should just take a moment to close your eyes and just imagine her. Imagine what she would be wearing, who she would surround herself with, how she would negotiate and price her services and products, who she would have as friends and peers, which memberships she'd belong to, how much time she would spend on social media, how adventurous she would be in her holidays, how adventurous she would be with her partner. Who would that person be? What difference would it make in your life? Give yourself a name. I did this exercise many, many years ago, and ironically, although I'm British and based in the UK, as you can probably tell, I called that version of myself my $1 million self. Maybe I'll come to the States at some point. Not because I really want $1 million, but actually, it's if I had $1 million, I would be a bit different in how I ran my business, the clients I chose, how I would work with them, how intensely I would work with them, how I'd run my life, how much relaxation I would have. That $1 million self handles life really very differently. She has a high level of self-worth. Does yours? I would have strong boundaries at my £1 million self. This is what I realized way back when. I would give more to charity. I would start a charity. I would be the better and best version of myself. If I believed in myself, if I believed I was worthy and I was worth it, I would be a much better version. And you know, that version of myself exists because what you have in your life, it happens twice, right? It happens once in your head and then once in reality. You have to have it happen in your head to be able to have it happen in reality. That's why you spend so much time thinking about things, deliberating things, wondering, not understanding. So when I look at my business now, when I'm creating the strategy for 2023, when I'm looking about what I'm launching in January, I have another business called She Coaches, where I coach and certify NLP deep structure coaches who work in the mindset. When I look at that business, my $1 million self is the one I want in control of that strategy. Not this version of me, and certainly not a past version of me. And might it be that a past version of you is running the you of now? And if it is a past version of you that's running the you now, we need to get her updated so that the future version of you, money, mindset, beliefs, behaviors, self-talk, thoughts, feelings, boundaries, challenges, success, achievement, the right spectrum from where you have been to where you're going gets updated. So what do you call yourself? What do you call that version of yourself? And what does she do differently? Does she eat better? Mine definitely does. She has a much better lifestyle. She has personal trainers. She has a whole variety of other people. So just have a think about that version of yourself. And what difference would that make to the rest of your life? Because, well, depending on your belief system, this version of you is only here once. And this version of you has to have the best experience she possibly can. And if this version of you is working on a past version, it's a bit like running an old version of Windows and a current one on the same computer. They will be bugging and glitzy and horrible and not working properly. You'll have to keep rebooting. Rebooting means we need to rest, we need to relax, we have to hide. If you find yourself Netflixing and eating ice cream and walking the dog for 4 hours a day and all these things we do to avoid avoidance, it means that we're having to reset the computer. We've got some glitchy programs all kind of fighting against each other. Because when you clear this out, and you must know this when you get a new computer or a new phone, it's really quick, it's really fabulous. The process is really speedy. Everything is really, really powerful. It's all mega bright, megapixel life. And if you haven't got a megapixel life, then we need to get rid of some of the old programming. So I want you to think about money now. I want you to think about money and what it really means to you. And I want you to grab your pad and pen, and I want you to start to write what I say and finish it. This is what I call continued writing. I do this in my masterminds and in my group programs and one-to-one with clients. And I want you to write, today, money feels like ... And I want you to continue writing. Today, money feels like. I wonder what comes out of the end of your pen. When I do this live, I hear people say things like impossible, my enemy, a long-term battle, something I'll never have, something I have to work hard for. If you've written any of these, then you're pretty normal, by the way. Sometimes I have money is my nemesis. Oh, actually, money is what I crave and need because I think it's the answer to everything. I'm here to tell you that money without impact and feeling fulfilled is nothing. It's as nothing as having no money, because actually what you really crave is that satisfaction, that fulfillment, that joy. Hence my business, Jeni Joy. And I want you to think about that part that you wrote about money. Where does it truly come from? So if you wrote something positive, then that's great, and just keep that in your mind. But if you wrote something you consider to be negative, when did that start? And where did it come from? This is the reset part, by the way. You might hear yourself thinking, that's what my dad used to say. Oh, I remember the first job I had. Oh, I remember a girl at school who they used to have everything. And actually they said that people with money they're really, rude, or they may not be good people. Your money beliefs come from between the age of 4 and 7 and 8, and that's where you've solidified all of your beliefs, including yours around money and worth. Money and self-worth, very closely tied together. So this may have come from, you may have heard your parents saying, we can't afford it. I remember my parents, we just haven't got the money. My adult self now looks back and says, you did have the money, you just decided to put it in the slot machine. You did have the money, you just made different choices with it. I remember my mum saying things like, oh, we can't afford the food. We can't afford a big joint of beef. We can't do that. Yes, we could. She just chose to spend it elsewhere. So what are your beliefs around money, and where do they come from? They may have come from a partner. They may have come from your siblings, although your siblings and you have probably got a similar identity. So you've learned this. And the good news for you is when you've learned something, you can unlearn it. You're not born with it. You see, you're only born with the fear of loud noises and falling. That's all you're born with. So all the other stuff that's in your head, you have put there and kept there and decided that's your map of the world. And so you can change that map. And that's what mindset coaches do. They help to change the neural pathways and reprogram so that you naturally think and feel something different. You don't have to have self-will or like, oh my God, I'm going to make myself do this, JFDI. That's stuff that's on the outside of you. When you can reprogram your belief system from the inside, it just doesn't exist anymore. I want you to think of things you've let go of in your life. Maybe you've quit smoking, maybe you've quit drinking, maybe you no longer like to go to the gym. It could be anything. How did you decide that at one time it was for you and then it wasn't for you? Because you reprogrammed your unconscious mind inadvertently. Maybe you had a bad experience, and we've all had the, oh my God, I'm never drinking gin again. I had a bad experience and I was really ill with it. Never. That is an automatic reprogram in the unconscious that triggers and anchors gin with ugh. So if you've done this before, it could have been with smoking. That's how I managed to quit smoking, actually. 20 years I haven't smoked for. That's how I managed to associate the feeling of with smoking. And this is how it all works. So you have got money associated with the wrong things in your mind, because after all, money is just an exchange. It's an energy. It's a transactional thing. But actually you have it tied up in meaning more about you. And it will be affecting every part of your life. The friends you choose, the people you hang around with, how much you invest in yourself, how much you spend, how much you earn, how much you charge. And all of these things will be affected by your money mindset. So the first thing you need to do is work out what that money belief is, what those rules are, where they came from, And then you can choose whether you want them or not. This is the reset. You can think, actually, I don't want to choose to believe that anymore. I'm definitely worth way more than I was when I was in a job. I'm definitely worth way more than anyone is paying me. And you can start to program your own belief system. But if you want to do it quicker, probably get some help from somebody like me. But you can start to decide what is true for you now. And I want you to write that down. What is true for me now? Because even if your belief you created was true back then, it's probably not true now. And it was a belief you created to keep you safe, because that's what most of them are designed for, and not successful. And safety and success very rarely sit in the same place. So if you're serving safety, we need to switch you to serving success and joy and happiness, euphoria, all of the things, all those endorphins you get from the things that you're avoiding your business with. So I don't know how long I've got. I hope this has been really helpful for you. I hope you now understand a little bit more about where some of this stuff is coming from. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, you are right at time, Vivienne. That was perfect. Thank you. Thank you. You did touch on something. I had a conversation with Haley today about how some people self-sabotage. It was directly involved with one of my clients that I have. And so thank you for covering that as well as you did. By doing that, we haven't got time because it's our way of avoiding things. That was such a big piece of information because it helps me to understand my clients better. So please, though, so many entrepreneurs need good mindset. If you could just drop your information in the chat, make sure people can reach you because you have a lot to offer for getting people to earn what they deserve. Thank you for being here.
I absolutely do. So in the chat here, that's my website address, everything, all my social media, lots of free stuff, lots of free videos on mindset and sales and marketing strategy, lots of free, there's a quiz on there to find out what kind of business owner you are. And also there's workshops you can come to and things you can get for free, or you can pay and play. So
thank you so much, Vivienne. Have a wonderful weekend.
Well, thank you.
All right, everybody, we are going to keep on keeping on. And we have got Jill Lublin up right now. And I'm anxious. I'm learning from all of you. So, Jill, I'm so excited for you to pour into me what your genius is today. Take it away.
Thank you. I am so delighted to be here. And my genius is publicity, my friends. So listen up, because I'm going to help you be the star that you all deserve to be and give you some practical, tactical strategies to elevate your star. Because really, wherever you're at, you can get to a higher point, right? And so my commitment is to support you in creating visibility, and publicity does that. Now, who likes M&Ms? Yes, I like M&Ms. I don't even care what color they are, but I prefer peanut M&Ms. And why do I say this? Because publicity gives you the 3 M's. Write this down. Magnetizes you, monetizes you, and multiplies you. The 3 M's. Magnetize, monetize, and multiply you. That's the power of publicity, my friends. And, you know, the truth is nothing happens without it. So doing publicity gets you seen, gets you heard, and gets you paid. You want all 3 of those things. And let me just say, you know, with regard to what does publicity do for you, I want to list out some things so you have a context for it. And that is, it gets you credibility. It gives you visibility. It gives you the trust factor, which is very important these days. It has people pay you, meaning real clients, my friends, and prospects. Wow, brings them into your door. It's a magnetization strategy. Publicity also saves you money because you don't have to be doing expensive other things such as Facebook ads and other kinds of advertising. And it gets you more exposure in the marketplace. And I only mean the good kind. So with that, it's important to understand, why is publicity important? I want you to start planting your publicity garden. And I've brought you flowers from San Francisco, the Bay Area where I'm from, so that you could plant your publicity garden. And I want you to start planting your publicity garden now, and then think 30 days, and then think 60 days, and then think 90 days, right? And that's short term. Long termer, I want you always planting your seeds now, plus 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Okay, so those are good general time frames for media that will help you create and make a big difference. So I love that, and I think it's helpful to know, different publicity time frames and support you in creating that distinction. I want to give you a really powerful message because, the reality is media cares about your message. I'm just going to tell you straight. It's not as much about what are you promoting. And by the way, you're all promoting something, all right? So can we just get comfortable with that, or even comfortable in the uncomfortableness? Because I know I hear people go, oh, I don't want to sell. I'm afraid of sales. Guess what? Publicity takes all that away because it sells you naturally with third-party endorsement. Like, how cool is that, right? And what's amazing about people talking about you is they're doing the heavy lifting and you get all the benefits. I have to tell you, one of my clients said, oh my God, Joe, I'm hiring you in a hot second for your publicity breakthrough boot camp, because she had, get this, I think it was 250 word article in a small town Wisconsin newspaper, and that got her a $5,000 client, my friends. I think you'd like that. And I can tell you story after story about that. And it really comes down to having a good message. So right now, I want to give you the fabulous formula for how to create a powerful message that works and that matters. Here's what you do. You fill in this blank. The problem today is, and again, don't think about, oh, this is actually what I'm selling or promoting. Your business, your marketing services, your consulting, your coaching, your books, your products, your nonprofits, whatever you've got. Yes, you're promoting it. But here's the good news. With this problem solution formula, it puts it into a format that helps you more easily communicate it. So start with the problem today is, and then do the other side of that. Give people real solutions. Like, tell them what to do. See, you're an expert. Point yourself right now and go, I am an expert. You are an expert. And experts solve problems. And guess what? Experts are needed in the media, my friends. Isn't that great news? Yes, needed in the media. So with that in mind, let's look at your expertise. And when you state the problem today is, that gives a format for it. And then I want you to give three actual specific things that people can do. So what I mean by that is, let me demonstrate this with mine, okay? So I would say this, and I hope you're taking lots of notes, because I'm going to pour great publicity content into you constantly, and I want you taking good notes. So, and let me just say, like, this that I'm about to give you is filled with great, literally thousands of dollars of PR information. So take some notes. The problem today is 4 out of 5 businesses will go out of business because you have no clue how to create publicity without spending a fortune. I want to give you 3 guerrilla publicity tips today for how to get your message in the media. The first way to get noticed is to create your ooh, ah factor. The second way is to create the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. And the third way is focus on networking magic and show up in your communities at least twice a month for name and face recognition. Now, my friends, that's my message. It's like 15 seconds, right? When you're in my boot camps, we do it 30 seconds. But here's the truth. Most media interviews are, get this, 4 minutes long. 4 minutes is an average like TV segment, and sometimes even a lot faster. So I want you to get to the point fast and be, here's 2 words, write them down, concise and precise. And while you're being concise and precise, the other excellent thing you can do for media is to be consistent and persistent. Oh, yes. Be concise and precise and consistent and persistent. But like a terrier nipping at the media's heels, not a bulldog. All right? That's what's key. Now, here's the thing about message, and think about that word for 1 minute. Message. In the word message is me. That's you. In the word message is sage. That's you. Me, sage. Isn't that cool? That's what's in the word message. That's why it's so important that you get your expertise out into the world. And in the world, message is mess. Yeah. First 4 letters of message is mess. If you're following the formula that I just gave you, I promise you, you won't have a mess. You'll have a powerful message, and your message matters. Now, with that, when you find the problem solution formula, you want to start generating news and creating consistent media attention, right? And so part of that will be that you're fitting into the media themes that are happening right now. I've done some research, and let me give you some of them right away, which what we call hot topics, right? So some hot topics that are big right now include transformation, anxiety, mindset, including themes such as Black Lives Matter or Stop Asian Hate. It includes things like the Great Resignation and quiet quitting. And in fact, if you're a business consultant, coach, anyone who owns their own business, do you think you have some excellent topics for Great Resignation and quiet quitting? Oh, yes, you do, because you maybe happen to be an expert right in that. So I love that. And financial topics in real estate. These are just some of the hot topics. Anything around health, for obvious reasons of what we've all been through. These are some hot topics for what's occurring right now. So take a note on those, and they work really well right now. Now, here's the thing. As you're planting your publicity garden, right? See the pretty flowers? As you're planting your garden, you also want to be paying attention to different themes. So did you know, of course, there are themes for the holidays. There's gratitude over Thanksgiving. There's love for Valentine's Day. And then, of course, you can shift it, because sometimes, like, for instance, the dating coach in my Breakthrough Boot Camp, she was focused on the dating issues. And I said, well, how about this? Can a Democrat date a Republican, and can a Republican date a Democrat? She spent, with that shift of her pitch, spent literally all day in front of the Zoom camera, that's the word, literally talking to Fox News Network after Fox News Network across the nation and across the world, talking about that particular theme, because we pushed the right button. So you want to look to push the right button, my friends, and find the things that will work for what's going to work out in the media. That's a real key. So with that, what we want to look at is the power of your presence, the power of your message, and finding the right pitch. So one of the messages is about what I call, what you do, what you offer. And the other message will be using everything you've got. Everything you've got. Your ethnicity, your religion. My Christian clients go to Christian media. A gentleman I work with recently who runs a nonprofit reuniting foster kids with their families in Central America was featured on Univision and Telemundo and Hispanic media, right? And then we're doing a story for Latina magazine. Yes, I know, for women. He's a man running a nonprofit, because don't you think mothers would feel so good being reunited with their children. So that's something powerful, powerful that we're talking about. And what could you be using everything you've got? One of my clients, he's a business consultant. He's got a 4-year-old. I go, does your 4-year-old like hot dogs? Oh, yes. Turns out there's National Hot Dog Day, and I want you to go on nationaldaycalendar.com, nationaldaycalendar.com, and take a look. What are the holidays that could work for what you're talking about? That will be very, very helpful. And when we're looking at that, you can see what kinds of topics and themes. You can get creative. You know, March 8th, International Women's Day. Fabulous time to get in as a woman talking about something that women care about, right? So how can you all be using everything you've got? Now, I want to give you some other resources. HARO, helpareporterout.com, is magnificent. It's actual media right then, right now, looking for you. Yes, you. So go check that out. It's completely free, and register for that. Then I want you to go to Google Alerts. Oh, yes, Google Alerts. And I want you to enter in your name so that, of course, if any of the media does write about you, you know. And I want you to do like one word. For instance, when my book, The Profit of Kindness, came out, I put in the word kindness. That's how I found out that, guess what? There's World Kindness Day on November 13th. Now I run an intentional kindness community every single month, and we have the World Kindness Summit every single year around November 13th. All of that came out of Google Alerts. And you know what else? I got featured literally in 7 Fox News interviews in the first week of The Profit of Kindness coming out because I pushed the right button. I used everything I've got. I've been in Inc. magazine and Entrepreneur magazine twice now because of The Profit of Kindness, and more because of guerrilla publicity and writing that book. But let me suggest to you that that happened, my friends, because we pushed the right button. And that was the divided states of America, right? And so with that, what you're looking at is how can you be using what's going on in the media? What's going on in the world? Like I was teaching my breakthrough boot camp, and I'm looking across the screen and I see a woman. I say to her, can I ask what your ethnicity is? And she said, I'm Filipino. I said, great. Would you be willing to go out? Now, she had taken my publicity course because she wanted to build her social media agency. That is perfect. Of course, you want more clients and more prospects. That's what publicity will do for you. I said to her, but I want you to use everything you've got. And by doing that, do you know what happened? I'm so excited to tell you that she was actually featured as one of the top 30 under 30 Filipino businesses. And that, making it to the media, got her dream of speaking on Les Brown stages. It delivered 15 prospects to her in 48 hours, 9 of which became immediate clients for her digital marketing agency. It got her press after press, and she was 28 at the time. Remember, she's one of the top 30 under 30 Filipino businesses. And the super cool thing about publicity, it's a gift that keeps on giving. So that was 2 years ago now, and she is able to consistently brag, use this media to create more opportunities, because the, well, braggability factor and third-party endorsement opportunities that publicity does is so, so powerful. And for her, life-changing, literally helping her get her dreams, create a very successful digital marketing agency now, and frankly, keep doing other publicity support wherever and everywhere she can, because it works. It works. That's a great example of how it works. And let me just tell you, cloud 9 is what she's on. And I want you to be expanded. And I want you to, shall I say, expand your mindset about what's possible in the area of PR. And I want you to keep your PR antennas up. See, these are my PR antennas. I want you to keep your PR antennas up so that you consistently look for opportunities to get your name out there, your word out there, to be exposed in the media in a good and positive way. And, you know, in my world of media, we measure the effectiveness of media by what you would have paid for it had you had to advertise. And that, you know what? You pay for it? Nothing. It's free. Publicity is free. And that is good news. So I just want to end with a few pieces for you. Number one, to remember all the resources I gave you. They are useful. They are fabulous. And just a bit, I'll let you know how you can connect with me. I want you to actually spend maybe 1 hour a week doing what I would call visibility building activities. Yes, visibility building activities. And they are things like I gave you: Google Alerts, helpareporterout.com, and nationaldaycalendar.com. And let's do one little thing, 15 minutes twice a week, or one 30-minute segment. And I promise you, great things are going to happen. Your visibility will be increased, and you will get your message out because your message matters. Happy to see all of you. Happy to help in every way I can.
Thank you, Jill. And please put those links. Those are great. I've used the national calendar link. That was such an amazing resource. Could you please put them with your contact information right in the comments? Because that was golden nugget after golden nugget. And I want them to remember your advice on the 3-6-9, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and then the 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, because it can be so overwhelming to think about this stuff. And you really broke it down. So thank you. And I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sharing. That is a lot of information. It was like a mini coaching session. I hope you all took notes. Anybody that didn't, I did. You can message me and I'll give you mine. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
I do want to share something because it comes right on the back of what Jill is talking about. And she mentioned Women's Day. So you might have remembered before everything kind of went haywire in November, we were working on the When Abundance collaboration book. Talk about great PR, right? So we are launching that book on International Women's Day. And it is currently available for you to join. If you go to wenbooks.com, you'll be able to see all of the information about it and reach out to Haley or I to get the information about the book. So that's all I had. And I want to bring up the wonderful Diana Morgan to talk some more about how to make your business even better. Thank you, Diane. Take it away.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, and it was so great to hear Jill, and it's perfect to come right after Jill because you take all that PR and you can use it to grow your social media online presence. Today, I want to inspire you to elevate your message to ensure your brand and legacy as an expert on social media. My mission is to raise the consciousness of social media in order to use social media to raise consciousness and to teach you how to grow your business. So just a little quick bit about who I am. I'm a recovered corporate misfit, and super long story short, I hated my job. And then one day my son came home from school and said he hated school. And that was the turning point. And I took one of those, the cosmic kick in the butt seminar where you go, I'm quitting my job in 6 months. And I got the voluntary 30-day layoff. So I quit my job and I turned my calling or my hobby into a successful business. And I got to do that for 20 years. I got to be a stay-at-home and a working mom. I got to help found a charter school, and I was very successful. And how I got so successful was that I got ahead of the curve on the internet in the last 10 years and cracked the code on how to get to the top of Google, which was a lot easier then than using social media and everything we have to use now. So I did that. And after about 15 years, I realized I needed to change to a different work situation. So what happened for me is that I started to help other wedding professionals with their internet marketing. And I was very successful with it. And I started to realize that I could really make a difference in the world and help people who were healing the world with their businesses and who they were by teaching people how to use the internet to grow their businesses. So that's what I did. In 2008, I found Whole Heart Marketing. And now I teach entrepreneurs the strategies that I use to build my business. And of course, you know, it started with building websites, SEO, blogging, and all of that stuff. And then it morphed into social media. And trust me, it was really a while before I could really embrace social media, because I really just didn't, I'm like, really, God, Facebook, this is my life. I was really on Facebook just to stalk my kids in the beginning. But what I realized finally was that Facebook and social media is a powerful force for change in the world. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Every sweet hath its sour." Social media can be just as annoying as it can be amazing. And that is what I want to talk about today, is how to use social media as an amazing and powerful force to heal the world and to grow your business. Whole Heart Marketing is a blended approach to authentic social media marketing that has evolved from my 30 years of experience in marketing, communications, psychology, and spirituality. A proven systems-based strategy for authentic, heart-centered marketing to build continued credible visibility and influence with strategic partners and clients and followers, while leveraging your time and resources to generate consistent income and make the bigger impact. So here's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the steps to powerfully mastering the internet to grow your business, because it takes more than just posting on social media. I want to talk about the missing link to your internet marketing success. And this is the secret that nobody talks about. And I want to give you an internet marketing strategy to authentically grow your brand and legacy online and to attract your ideal clients and make a bigger impact, even if you're an introvert, an introvert, even if you're an introvert, because a lot of my clients are introverts and they just were struggling with how to do this as an introvert. Social media is about building relationships, not really so much about advertising. In Web 3.0, maybe you've heard of Web 3.0. Web 3.0 is about building community more than building an audience. And that's what I want to talk about. You know, there's always going to be new social media platforms, both free and paid. There's always going to be a new place to hang your virtual shingle. But what you want to think about is whatever I'm talking about today, it's relevant to all social media. Okay. It's just whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, it's just different formatting, mechanics, demographics. In fact, even on your blog and your website. So I'm the truth teller, and I'm going to tell you 4 truths today. Number 1, you can look like you're doing everything right and not be. You can be doing Facebook Lives and Reels and videos and all that stuff and not be getting any results. And you can still be scratching your head, wondering why you're not getting any results. Number 2, just because someone else is doing it does not mean it's a good idea for your business, okay? So this relates to a lot of things you see people do on social media, like, you know, okay, so I'm gonna tell you today, from this day forward, the post that everybody throws around, hey, everybody, I'm only getting 25, Facebook's only showing me 25 of my people, and click in this link and say hi if you see this. That is engagement bait. Don't ever do it again. Facebook dings you for that. Okay. And so just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean it's a good idea or that you should do it. You should do the things that work for your business and the things that resonate with you. Okay. Truth number 3, less is more. Okay. It's about quality versus quantity. And this is especially important for introverts and the overwhelmed. You don't have to be doing it all. And what is really important is that you're doing the things that resonate with you. If you're doing things that you don't want to be doing on social media, it comes across. Okay. So you don't have to do it all. Number 4, truth number 4, it takes more than just posting to have an ongoing supply of leads and clients. If you're someone who's building a business by developing the know, like, and trust factor, by cultivating relationships, all the tricks and hacks are not going to get you where you want to be. Like I always say, for every hack, there's an algorithm. Okay. So you can't try to game the system. There are many different strategies, and anyone can be successful if you're doing the right things. I'm going to teach you tried and tested strategies that I've helped thousands of clients with who have grown their businesses, turned their side hustle into a business, grown their direct sales businesses, all of those types of businesses that have benefited from these strategies. Okay, so let's dive in. It takes more than just posting on social media to get the clients you want. You want to be set up for success. Here are the 4 steps to set yourself up for success. So write this down. This is called the whole heart path to profit. Step 1, it's personal. Okay. So the very first thing you want to think about is your message. Most people, they log on to social media, they open up Facebook or LinkedIn and they go, what should I say? That's not the first question. The first question is, who am I talking to? Okay, so if you can imagine one person that is the person that you're talking to, who is that person? What is the struggle that they're experiencing that you are the solution to? What will cause them to lean in and say, tell me more? And what will inspire them to take the next action? So that's the very first thing. The internet is full of search engines. All social media sites and platforms, they're just search engines. So it's crucial that you're using the words that your ideal clients would use to search for you when you're posting, when you're sharing. That's how the search engines decide what's going to show up in your feed and what's going to show up in your ideal clients' feeds. So that's the first thing, is your message, and make it personal. Okay, so the more personal you can be, the more successful you're going to be. Step 2, get to know each other. Okay, this is the plan. Some people call it the funnel, whatever you want to call it. Basically, what I want to recommend to you is no more random acts of social media. You want to have a plan. You want to have a way for people to take the next step to connect with you. Maybe it's a free thing. It should be a free thing. Maybe it's a live virtual training. Maybe it's a webinar. I think that what you want to do is have something free that gives people a way to experience you the way they would experience you if they paid you. So that's what you want to be sharing on your social media. So you want to have your message. It's personal. You want to have your plan so you can get to know each other. Number 3, and this is so important, nurture the relationships. Okay, not everybody's ready for you right now. Some people are ready for you right now. Other people need more information. And other people, maybe it'll be down the road or never. But you want to be nurturing those relationships and building community on and offline. Okay, so how do you do this? You want to have your own online presence. You want to have a website where people can go and stay connected to you. You want to have email marketing, and not promotional so much as email marketing to educate, inspire, and motivate, and really build those relationships. I cannot tell you how many people I've had come to me after 3 or 4 years. They're getting my emails every couple of weeks, and they're like, okay, I'm ready now. And if they weren't getting my emails, here's what would happen. When they were ready, they'd be going to that other person who was in front of them at the time when they were ready. Here's another thing that happened. Social media isn't, it can go away any day. Facebook can decide like, okay, we're going to start charging you to reach your business page, or else you're only going to reach 2% for free, something like that. So if you have your own website and your own email marketing, you are empowered to stay in touch with people. One of the things I like to say is, if you don't have email marketing and a website, using social media is like chasing a flash mob. And number 4, so you have your message, your plan, your community, nurturing the relationships, email and website. And number 4 is be intentional with your social media. Okay, this is a place for you to avoid the overwhelm. Be intentional, be focused. Start thinking about Who do you want to play with on social media? Okay, so I'm going to just take this to the next level and talk about intentional social media marketing. And this is the missing link to your internet marketing success. You are your brand. You are your message. Who you are is what people buy. You are your most powerful lead magnet. So bring your whole heart essence to your online presence. Everything is energy. We are all connected. When you log on to your social media and you start to play, I like to say, people feel your energy. They feel so maybe sometimes you log on and you're like, oh God, I hate this. I don't want to do it. Kill me now. And sometimes maybe you log on and you go, oh boy, I get to get on social media and start to interact and play with some new friends. And people feel that energy. So think about that. That's why I say, don't do those social media platforms that don't resonate with you, because people feel that. It's very important for you to feel that, to be wanting intentionally to do what you're doing on social media. The internet is a 24/7 networking opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to connect and to refer and to build those relationships. So what I want to do is I want to give you a challenge. And I offer this challenge every time I speak. And this is going to change your social media results forever. If you did not do anything else that I'm recommending to you today, this is going to change your results forever. Okay, here it is. I want you to find 5 people to start playing with on social media. And I like to say playing because that really just sets the tone for what I'm talking about and what you're doing. So who are these 5 people? Now, you know who you're talking to. You know what the struggle is that you help people with. You know what the transformation is. You're set up for success. And now you're going to find people to play with who are in your lane. In other words, there are people who are active on social media, because if their last post was in July of last year, they're not the right person for this game. So there are people who are active on social media. There are people whose message is in alignment with your message. These days, if your message is not in alignment with their message, you're not going to want to share their content, and they're not going to want to share yours. The next thing is that you are in some way or other power partners. So maybe you do the same thing, but you work with different kinds of people. Or maybe you do something different, but you're targeting the same group of people. So you want to think about those 3 things when you choose your people. And what I recommend that you do is you start with people who you're already friends with or you're already connected with. So if you're super active on Facebook, go to your Facebook friends and pick 5 people that you haven't played with in a while or ever. Okay. If you're on LinkedIn, go to LinkedIn and pick 5 connections that you haven't played with for a while and start to play. So what does playing with them look like? Okay, first of all, you want to go through all of their social media that you're on and that they're on and connect. So, of course, I want to back up to say that you want to make sure that your social media is current, that your image is current, your cover photos current, your bio and your about, all of your stuff is current before you start to do this. Because once you start to do this, it's really going to activate your social media. Okay, so how are you going to play? You're going to go and connect on all of their social media. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to just start checking them out. Start getting to know them. Start becoming familiar with who they are. Go to their personal page, see what you might be interested in. Go to their business page, see what you might want to share. Maybe they have a group that you'd like to be in. And start to engage. Start to like, comment, share, and care. So CARE is my acronym that I created, which is connect, acknowledge, respond, and engage. So one deep, heartfelt, engaging comment can have more impact for you than lots of likes and likes and likes. You know, every single step that you take on social media leaves a digital footprint. So people see your comments. They see who you're liking. And here's what happens when you start to do that. Number one, you're going to start liking what shows up in your news feed, because that person's content is going to start showing up in your newsfeed. They're going to see the notification that, oh, so-and-so shared my post or liked or commented. And so they're going to start to come and check you out, presumably. I mean, isn't that what we do? Somebody shares our stuff and we go check them out. And then you're going to start to build this relationship. Now, here's what will happen. You'll start with 5 people a week. 3 of those people are going to work out and 2 of them might not. And then you'll find another 5. 2 might work out, 1 might, et cetera. So what you'll start to do is you'll start to build an online presence. You will start to train the search engines in what you want to see in your feed and what you want others to see in their feed. And it's a very powerful, free, organic reach strategy that I encourage you to try. And what's going to happen is you're going to start building an authentic online presence with quality, not so much as quantity.
Thank you so much, Diana. I have never thought of the word care like that before. It's always, people don't care what you know until they know how much you care. And you
Right.
made a great acronym to go with that, and it's perfect. The other thing I love about what you did teaching, and everybody's done such a great job with this, is giving bite-sized advice, bite-sized things that you don't have to jump in and do it all, right? You can do these few things. Find 5 people to start playing with on social media and really get to know who they are. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here and donating some time and brilliance on your Friday.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, folks. So I'm going to have another shameless self-promotion before we bring on Tif Loefler. And it's because it directly involves Tif. She's actually one of my clients too. So Haley and I share Tif. We've both adopted her. For those of you, you've been learning all day about your value and your worth and what you should be doing and your mindset and how you can get great publicity. These are genius women that have been speaking to you. So let's talk about how you're going to monetize that, right? It's time for your high ticket offer. And I have one last round of a high ticket live cast lab. It is full 4 hours for 2 days in a row. And we build out your whole high ticket course and get you up and running with your funnel. So that being said, I'll put the link right underneath the comments. But I'm going to go ahead, and Tif is actually an affiliate for us. So I'm going to give you her link. And now, Tif, welcome to the stage. Take it away.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Melissa. I am so glad you're talking about that book. I am so excited. The word abundance is going to be fabulous. Okay, so I have been here listening to all of these incredible speakers, and I love when Melissa said, all of these incredible speakers, and I'm saying, yes, and then there's me. And have you ever thought that? Have you ever thought, oh my gosh, I'm in the room with those people, and or by the way, there's so much awesome information. Does this ever happen to you? Your mind's blown. You think, okay, how am I going to remember all this? Well, I want to start right off the bat with, hi, my name's Tif Loefler. I'm a positive intelligence coach, and here's positive intelligence. Okay, just to give you a visual. I want to share with you my number 1 PQ rep to help you throughout this crazy holiday season, because we have a lot of, I'm going to use the word stimuli. There's so much coming at us. Billions and billions and billions of pieces of information. How are we all going to sort it? Once in a while, we need to take a breath. We need to take a moment. Here's what you do. Let's just say you got some urgent email and something has to be done immediately. You don't know how it's going to be done. Or maybe your kid says, hey, by the way, I need an asparagus costume for the Christmas play, and that's tomorrow. Or maybe someone says, can you put together a 20-minute presentation and hop on when this December birthday celebration? Oh my gosh. What do you do? Here's what you can do. First of all, just say, all right, I know all this stuff is happening. And there's a lot going on inside my mind. And maybe it's not the kindest thing. Maybe it's, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. Nobody's going to listen to me. This isn't going to work out. Do any of these thoughts maybe go through your head maybe once or more than once a day? Here's something to do. If you can, close your eyes, but this works even without closing your eyes. Take 2 fingers, thumb, and we'll just use this finger. Lightly rub them together. If you can, close your eyes and gently feel your unique divine fingerprints lightly touching. Now I know what you're thinking. What are we doing here? Like, I've got things to do. I've got places to go, people to see. I know. Stay with me. We're doing this right now. I know all that's happening. We're doing this right now. And then, if you need a couple more moments, you can take your fingers and rub them up and down the palm and fingers of the other hand. There's a reason for this. This is science. And then, sometimes maybe touch is a little too much. That's okay. Grab something like your cell phone. Do the same thing here and just be very curious. That's all we're doing. We're taking a moment of curiosity. We're just admiring the texture, the temperature, not really thinking, just doing this, okay? Then we're just gonna take a nice breath. What happened? Okay, what happened is that you went from a place of negativity, chaos, stress, over to a place of calmness, clarity, relaxation. You're creating a new pathway in your mind. Because you know what? We are freaking amazing. We are so incredible. There's nothing wrong with us. We are not broken, but we might have a few patterns that need readjustment. And this is not about distraction and keeping you from the things you need to do. No, this is redirection. This is simply saying to that part of your brain, no, we need to redirect. What did we just do? We redirected. And now, coming from a place, in positive intelligence, it's called SAGE. It's that you that knows what next step to take, that knows what to do, and can do it with more ease and flow because you took a moment for yourself. So thank you. I wanted to make sure that the one thing I could give you that is it's the first thing I learned when I started on my positive intelligence journey. And it has been so incredibly wonderfully helpful, and may it bring you clarity, peace of mind during this crazy holiday season. And you love this season. It's super fun. And I am here today to just have some fun. You know, I love everything that everyone has been saying. I think it's super awesome, and thank you. And I thought, man, what am I going to bring to this? And I love my mom, and she sent me a text, and it's one of my favorite quotes, and I wanted to share it with you because it does include a question. I love that everybody's asking questions. I think it's incredible. And perhaps you've heard this before, and may it resonate into your heart. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. That is from Marianne Williamson. The book is called A Return to Love, Reflections on the Principles of A Course in Miracles. And it's also fun to say, I did read that book. There's so many books that I want to read. Has that ever happened to you too? Where you're like, I don't have time. Is there so much time? Well, I'm here to tell you that as a positive intelligence coach for women who have businesses and families, and they're trying to get it all together, but at the end of the day, again, time slipped away. Who's going to pay? Your business, your family. What about you and your dreams? Well, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you take your time back. And A tip that I'm going to provide is that I feel it's really important what gets scheduled gets done. So I want you to grab your phone, I want you to grab your calendar, and I want you to schedule 15 minutes. 15 minutes for play. What? I don't have time for that. I can't afford to do that. Oh, yes, you can. Play is absolutely essential. And I even, inspired by you, Melissa, I have created an acronym, and I did it. I admitted I did it while I was listening to everybody. I love the inspiration from the energy of the women here today. It's the best. Oh, I love it. So I want us to just relax for a moment. Let's pull out those magic wands. Let's have some fun time here. Let's play. Yes. I want you to schedule 15 minutes a day for play. Now, there's a reason I do that. A 15-minute segment of time is a little easier to book than 5 minutes. Look, I'm already shrinking it down a bit to 5 minutes. But I like to have a little buffer on each end. Okay. Because here's what I want you to do. I want you to find 5 minutes. Something fun. Whether it's singing or dancing or drawing or reading or calling someone and saying, hey, you know what? I got 5 minutes. I just want to talk to you. I love you. Do you know how much that means to someone? You don't have to be on the phone for hours. Just do something different that's playful every day. Now, I did mention singing. I'm so glad that people have been singing during today. And there is a birthday, and I'm going to be singing that song at the end. But I love this song because I think it makes an excellent point. Now, statistics prove that you've one birthday. Imagine just one birthday every year. But there are 364 birthdays, precisely why we're gathered here to cheer. A very merry birthday to you. Yes, you. A very merry birthday to me. Yes, you. Now blow the candles out, my dear, and make your wish come true. A very merry birthday to you. That felt really good because it was fun. It was playful and it was heartfelt. And I want everyone to know that I'm wishing you a very merry unbirthday because a person should celebrate every day of the year. So now, without further ado, I want to get to the acronym. And the acronym is PLAY. Let's start with number 1, P. And P is for passion and purpose. You've got a light inside of you. You've got that fire. You know you do. We know you do. And we love that you do. And we want you to breathe into that and say, yes, I have a fire inside of me. I am going to be inspired. How do we do that? Well, as I mentioned before, I was very grateful to say that I have read Marianne Williamson's book. There are a lot of other books I want to read. And does it ever happen that you have all these great intentions that, of course, I'm going to read 20 books a year. It's going to be fabulous at the end of the year. Well, here's the thing. The book doesn't have to be that long. In fact, I just picked up this book, You're Here for a Reason. I'm so excited, and I wanted to read just one page of it. I should have had a bookmark, but that's okay. You're here for a reason. You certainly are. The world would be different without you by far. If not for your hands and your eyes and your feet, the world, like a puzzle, would be incomplete. It's really fun to look at books. See, I love this elephant. He's so blue. He's so cute. And just to read that, we're all here for a purpose. And it's absolutely essential that we acknowledge that. And then I would like to move to L, which is laughter and love. Oh my gosh, the world needs laughter and the world needs love. And when you're out there shining your light, doing your thing, it's important to have a sense of humor because things will happen. Oh yes, the one thing I can guarantee, the one thing that will never change is change. And how do you handle that? Well, I don't mind repeating a couple things. Sometimes it's good to call a friend and say, okay, I'm having a day. I need a good laugh. I think it's fun to jump on the tube of you and find something funny to watch. I think it's important to, again, have an element of play and a tactile element. Now, I have a very good friend. She just turned 11 years old, and she makes slime. Not just any kind of slime. Oh, no. This is the shaving cream slime, which I think is very lovely. I have kept it in the wrapping so that I don't get my hands too messy for other things, but she has helped me put many wonderful little things in here that I just get to play with if I'm a little stressed out. I highly recommend this for everyone. You know what? She's decided that in 2023 she wants to start her own business, and I'm supporting her on that. And she even put little toys in here. For example, here's a little bunny milkshake. You're thinking, my God, what does this have to do with, this has everything to do with everything. This is taking a moment of self-care for you, less stress, more fun. Just like that PQ rep, this is something to redirect your brain. Because I admit, I was feeling a little stressed out, looking at the time, going, oh, I could have enough time. And then it's important to say, you know what? When you have a stressed mind, you're not going to get the things done as well as a relaxed mind, a mind that is playing. Now, I'm very excited about this next letter, A, because A is for action. Action and appreciation. Because I really appreciate that we're all out there in our businesses creating these worlds that are so amazing, that are helping so many people. Do you know there are people out there right now that need you just as you are right now? Right now, just as you are, this very instant. They are ready for you. They are ready to have you receive because they are ready to give because they want what you got. But you got to get out there and take action. It is wonderful to have moments of dreaming and planning. And then there's action. And then also appreciation. Appreciation for all of the things that you have. And all of the things that you have, to bring in the gratitude and the thankfulness and to say, yes, this and more. Because it can get so easy to look at other people and see what they have and wish that you had what they had. But maybe you could take a moment. What is it that I want? What do I want just for me? And what do I already have that I'm so grateful for? And how can I build upon that? It's so nice to take a breath and just be so grateful. I'm so grateful for so many things. I'm so grateful for that text message that my mom sent me right before. I'm so grateful that I had something sparkly to wear that I remembered where it was. I'm so grateful I could remember to find things. I admit I was scouring, looking for things. And when I got really frustrated, I just said out loud, where the F are you? And that might have taken a couple tries, but yes, I found everything. I don't know why it worked. I feel it's magic. Give it a try. So the last one, I admit I struggled a little bit on the words because why? That could also be your why. Why am I doing this? And take a moment and you know why you're doing this. In fact, I love to draw, so we're going to take just one moment to draw. I got a brand new sketch pad. I'm so excited. And I was practicing faces with my new friend, Kimberly. And she told me, you know what it is, so it doesn't matter how it looks. I love that. And I want you to know that. In your business, you know what it is. So it doesn't matter how it looks to you. You got to know it's going to look great to the people who are ready for you right now. So if I'm going to say the why, and I'm going to put it here. I'm going to say my why is I really like that I live with my family. I love, and I'm so grateful for that. Here's a house and a couple windows, and wouldn't you know, I didn't grab the pen that can write sideways, but there's a little house. I'm very grateful. I am working towards creating a space for myself and all the other, and here's my word, yummy, all the yummy things I want. They're just yummy things that I want. And it's okay to want things and go after them and to have them and to enjoy them and then who am I going to be as that person? And how can I be that person right now? I can be that person that practices drawing because I love drawing. And I'm also going to draw a sun. I took a circle. I'll even draw another sun down here because I love drawing these suns. Draw a circle and then just draw some nice curves. And there you are. That was a very quick draw of a sun, but I love drawing suns. And I just want you to know that even when you've got your cloudy days, the sun is still shining. And there's so much opportunity out there. There's so much, there's just so much beauty and fun and joy. And what are we here for? We're not here to suffer. We're going to have our challenges. We're going to have our struggles. But that's what I love about learning about positive intelligence and sharing it with the world, because you know what? We're here to play. We're here to have fun. We're here to shine that light. And that's why I was so grateful that I was able to be here today. Now, I actually did want to show you, as I was drawing that last sun, I cut my finger. I got a paper cut. Oh no. And you know what? Sometimes life happens. Sometimes you get a little boo-boo. And you know what? You got to put that Band-Aid on and keep going. And then once in a while, you got to rip that Band-Aid off and keep going. So I am happy to say I did not try to give myself a paper cut on purpose for that little tidbit. But I would like to, before my sharing with you my Christmas card for the year, a celestial service announcement. I love that we've been talking about getting enough sleep and drinking water. Now, I like to drink out of really fancy, fun glasses because it reminds me to drink water. And I will say it is 5 o'clock somewhere, but this is just sparkling water. But just remember to stay hydrated because it's really good for you.
That was like, I don't want it to stop. Hey, you even inspired me. I had to go put on my crown because I felt so like, I gotta get in it to win it. This was great. That chaos stopper with the fingers was so good.
Thank you.
And I never thought about the fear of our light, but I've heard people say, you know, you're afraid to become, we're afraid of success. I never thought about that as our light. And that really is that raw piece of it. And you said something that I am going to forever forward tell all of my clients. There are people who are ready for you right now. That's so awesome. And you just have to find those people.
You're there.
So good. And then one of the things I would like to add is to find those people is to be authentic. And that's exactly what Tif is, authentic, because that's our superpower as entrepreneurs. We can show up authentic and not have to worry about what corporations have to worry about. And that's going to be how we qualify the people that want to work with us and disqualify the people that would become a headache. That's how we find our tribe and how we find our future customers. So, and it's all we become relatable, right? Being authentic and telling our story. So, Tif, that was mind-blowing and awesome. And thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you. I just wanted to sing really quickly, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Haley, tomorrow. Happy birthday to you. So thank you. And thank you for having me here, Melissa. It's been awesome.
This has been so fun. And we are wrapping up. We're wrapping up with our last super fantastic woman of the day. And it's Gemma. Gemma, can you please tell me how to say your last name? Because I won't chop it up. I won't disrespect.
Thank you. It's Lumicisi.
Lumicisi. It's Gemma Lumicisi. That's so awesome. All right, take it away, lady.
Hi. Well, if you can hear my accent, I am coming to you from Australia. So it's bright and early in the morning. So good afternoon and good morning from Australia. So very excited to be here. So yes, I am Gemma Lumicisi. I am a copywriter, a marketer. I'm a copywriting coach, and I am also an author. So that's a little bit about me. And following up, I did catch the end of that. So talking about finding ideal clients and being authentic is something that I stand for, of course, being a copywriter. And what I want to talk to you about today is a little follow on from that, which is quite perfect. And it's all about I want to teach you a bit on how to write clear copy, really clear copy, and making sure that it's bold. So I want to have a quick chat about this today because I've been seeing it come through my business lately, and a lot of my clients are coming to me with quite, I always like to say messy mind, messy copywriting. So they're sort of coming to me needing help to clear it up, and it feels a little all over the place. And because of that, on top of it, we tend to use words here and there that don't leave the message as bold as, I guess it should be, right? Because it's copywriting. So the reason we do it is to get an action out of our reader. So whether it may be, buy the thing, sign up to my email list, click to my website, whatever it is, there's always a goal in mind with copywriting, and we want that reader to do something. So the whole point of copywriting is to be writing words that are going to initiate an action. It may not necessarily always be selling something like so much ads, which is my background. And the first thing I really want to say, and the number one mistake I'm seeing at the moment, is that people aren't planning. Like there's no planning in copywriting. And this is why it's looking a bit confusing and it's not getting to the point, which for you in your beautiful entrepreneur brains makes sense to us, right? And when we're so close to what we're selling and what we love, of course, it makes sense that our brains might be like, oh, a bit of this here and a bit of that and a bit of that. And, we just get overly excited about stuff. And we should be writing copy in the way that we speak, but sometimes it can be a bit higgledy-piggledy, right? And that's not what we want. Like the whole point of copy to be clear and very bold is because we know people don't have a lot of time, right? And even if they're someone from your target audience who is looking through, let's say, your website or social media feed, and they may be already in that investigation stage. So they've already got it in their head that they're looking for something that you are selling. Even when they're in that stage, you still need to capture them. You still don't want to lose them because they're not going to be investigating just you. Right? So copy to be clear and bold is super important, not only for, a first time reader of your copy. So because we don't have a long time to capture audience, we need it to be clear and bold. And the number one mistake I see, like I just said, is not planning. Now, planning doesn't have to be anything huge and big and scary. And I know so many people will just write and not plan because it sounds scary, right? Now, I'm a planner myself. I'm a huge planner for everything because down the track, it makes stuff easier, right? If you're going into doing something with a rough idea in your head, that's great, but it will slow you down. It's so much easier if you've got something set. Even let's say you're writing your copy over 3 days. So even planning the time daily is helpful. I think I've frozen. Nope, there I am. Never good when you freeze when you look like, So, I want you to be planning. So plan the time, but plan what you're writing. And it doesn't have to be big, scary, and terrible. So what I want you to do, whether you're watching this now or maybe watching it back, grab a pen, piece of paper, or start typing, whatever it is that you're doing, and just take some of these notes, because what I'm going to give you today is a few tips that you can action right away. What I want you to do first, when you plan your copy, you ask yourself 3 questions. Now, these questions will help you keep on track, and they're also a reminder of what it is and who you're selling and who it is you're talking to. So number 1, what is the goal of this piece of copy? Okay. So whether it's your entire website, one social media post, if you're planning them out, a blog, whatever it may be, what is the goal? What do you want out of this piece of copy? And then next, what problem are you trying to solve? Now that may seem obvious, right? You might think, oh, I already know that. I've already done all that research. I've already done all that planning, which of course you have. However, sometimes we may forget that. And you may be looking at a different problem per copy, right? Per piece of copy you're writing. You're not going to tackle all of them in one unless it's a huge sales page or your website or whatever that may be. So what is the goal of this piece of copy? What problem am I solving as a reminder and a focus for your copy? And how does this piece of content or copy solve that problem? So already that's going to make you be super laser focused. And that's what we want. When you're writing, I want you to have that real laser focus, that real reminder of what it is you're doing. So that's your 3 steps of planning your copy every single time. And it will save you time because 1, you're going to have that reminder of, oh, here's a problem. Here's how I solve that. And the goal of this copy. So for example, what could be a goal? Maybe it's the call to action that you want. Okay. So maybe this goal is to have 10 people sign up to your email list. Maybe this goal is, to get 20 people into a program or have someone click through to your website. It doesn't matter what the goal is, right? But if you keep that really specific, it's going to help you really focus on what you're writing throughout that copy based on the problems that your ideal client have and based on you as a solution to that problem, right? So the 3 of them flow through together. And when I've gotten clients to plan their copy in that way, it already reduces that overwhelm of, oh my God, copywriting, can't deal, hate, want to run away, super overwhelming. So if you really think about doing that plan, I promise you it's going to bring that overwhelm down a bit. And it also helps to avoid procrastination. And I completely understand what it's like to put stuff off, right? We're entrepreneurs. We all do it. It's totally normal. But for me, being a writer, it's the one thing I don't put off, right? But for most entrepreneurs, it is super scary. This is why I help people with it. And it will really help to bring that procrastination down, maybe from up here to down a little bit. If you've got a plan, it helps you focus to start something and begin something. So number 1 is to plan your copy, and that's already going to help it be clear and laid out and not bits and pieces here. Now, the next plan I want you to do from that, so that's very general. And then one thing I would love to teach people is my next super simple plan, only 3 steps, and it's called the feel, know, do. So you've got those other 3 points, you've got your goal, you know what's happening. When you're writing this piece of copy, how do you want the person reading it to feel? What do you want them to know? And what do you want them to do? Super simple, and it will really keep that copywriting clear and not confuse people. So, feelings. Feelings initiate actions in us. That's what they do, right? This is copywriting. This is why copywriting is completely, psychological based. There's psychologists that look through all of this. Marketing psychology is something I did for a long time. So what you really want is you want your reader to feel something, because when we feel something, from that feeling, we then do something. So perhaps the feeling for this piece of copy is curiosity, right? Perhaps it's excitement. Perhaps it's, anger. I don't know, right? It's your business, your copy. You know what you want your clients to be feeling, so they do something. So what do you want them to feel? What do you want them to know? What do you want them to do? Now, the know can be similar to the goal, but it's one thing. So let's say you want them to feel curious. You want them to know that you have a webinar coming up next week, let's say. And what you want them to do is your call to action. So you want them to be curious. So they're getting curious about this webinar coming up. And then you want them to click on the link to go through to your landing page. So it's super, super simple. And a feel no do works for really, really long copy. It works for sales pages that may be super, super long. It works for a short social media post. It's so simple yet so effective. So I'd love you to start to adopt the feel no do. Give that a go and see what happens. Right? It's super helpful. It's one of my favorite things to teach. And that's how we can keep our copy super clear. And then I want to shift into giving you some tips about how to make it bold now. So we've got it nice and clear. It's not confusing people. You've made your plans. You're following the plans. So that's going to be amazing. So here's some tips on how to make it bold. Now, what I mean by bold is I do notice, and I have noticed this particularly lately, and maybe because we're busy, right? And we're just writing things super quickly, which is totally fine. But one of the things that happens is, yes, I want you to be writing how you speak because your copy needs to be friendly and it needs to sound like you. And as I just heard before this, speaking about authentic, right? You need to have that authenticity come through in your words. But it sometimes when we speak, we use a lot of adverbs. Now, what I mean by adverbs is all of the words with the ly, right? So like really and very and extremely and, which is totally fine, but they're not so necessary in copy. So what I want you to do is once you finish that piece of copy, if you're going through your edit stage and all of that, I want you to do a search through the document. Just type in ly and see what comes up. Now, you'll find there's so many of those words you don't need, and they actually sort of diminish what you're saying, the boldness, right? So these are all the words I mean, like very and likely and probably, and those words are not necessary. So just get rid of them straight away. And next, I want you to then do a search and pay attention to the word really and very, because these two words, again, not necessary. So the veries and the reallys, what I want you to do is look at the word next to that. So as an example, when you've got really in a word and very in a word, 9 times out of 10, or pretty much 100% of the time, you can get rid of both of those words, turn it into one word that's better, bolder, maybe more powerful, right? So for example, let's say you've said it's really hot today, which it is here. So it's really hot today, right? It's not that exciting. So first of all, you can get rid of those two words. You're already shortening the copy, keeping it clear. Instead of saying it's really hot, go to a thesaurus, jump onto, Google and find some awesome words, more powerful, more striking words. So instead of saying it's really hot, when you say it's blistering, it's scoldering today, whatever it may be, right? So look for the words really and very, remove the word after it and those two words, and look for a more powerful, super exciting word. Let's say you've said maybe it's something is very good, right? Not so exciting. We can make that more powerful, right? We say it's fascinating, right? So it's such a great tip to look for those words. Once you're done, remove the both of them and put in a more powerful word. It's going to keep it clearer and it's going to make it bolder. And my last tip for bold copy is I want you to remove modal verbs. Now, without being super grammatical, which is not what this is about, these are the words that are like could, might, maybe. Get rid of them. They are not bold. So again, and I don't want you doing all of this before. I want you to be writing your copy. This is for after of when we're in the edit phase and we want our copy to pop, right? Look for those words because they're not bold. And I like to say that it's like we're hiding behind our words, right? Maybe you want to come to my webinar, right? or you might like to download this form. No, like it's not, it's not bold, it's not direct. So look for those mights, maybes, all of those words, woulds, coulds, get rid of them, and then see if you can turn that sentence into something more active, right? So you might like to subscribe to my email list, right? Click here, subscribe today, right? So just make sure it's a lot more bolder by getting rid of those words that sort of diminish what it is you're saying. And well, that's about all I have. I have one more minute. So that's what I really wanted to talk to you about. So make sure that, you're planning so your copy is nice and clear, and some little tips to turn it into being more bold. And that's all I have for you. Nice and short, end of day.
I'd love to ask a question. Could
Please.
you give, those were so many tips. So I totally feel like I'm abusing you at this point, and I own that because you gave so much information.
Sorry, I got excited.
Can you give us
Please.
one tip on how to repurpose? Like, what's the best piece of copy to repurpose? And just maybe something that we could turn it into easily.
Sure. I mean, I always like to go straight away first with a blog, but not many people are writing blogs anymore. So if you've got a transcription to a podcast, perfect. If you've got a blog, perfect. If you don't have either of those, go with one of the pages of your website, because that tends to be where you've got a longer form copy, right? And that can be turned into so much. You can turn a page of your website into close to 20, 30, 40, 50 social media posts. You can turn them. Oh, there's so much. You've caught me off guard here.
Do you
I get
help
really
people with
excited
that?
about this.
Do you help people with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I would
Oh my
have
gosh.
spoken
Okay,
about
so
that if I had known.
get your link up into the chat, because that's amazing. I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges, right? We sit in front of the blank Canva screen. What are we going to say? And what is the picture that needs to go with it? What are we going to say? And the picture that needs to go with it. And if we were to just go to our content we already have that speaks directly to what we do, but then again, we have all that content, and what do I pull out and what's the picture that goes with it? That's the next question. So you're the answer.
Yes, I am. It's so interesting you bring that up, because I just did my most recent podcast episode on that, because I've been having clients come, and that's what I call part of messy mind, messy copywriting. So they're coming to me with all of these bits and pieces, right? And they're like, here's like my transcript here, and I got 6 blog posts here. Here's all of these social media posts, and they're giving it all to me. It's like, can we put all this together now into a website? And I'm like, hang on a minute. So, I can help you plan all of that, because yes, all content you have is amazing, but if it's messy and everywhere, you're going to struggle with repurposing it. But I help with that for sure, and especially social media, because that's such a big hump for everyone.
It's the difference between a well done and decorated cake and soup. Thank you so much for being here early in the morning. You said it was morning over there. I don't know how early it is. You can see it's dark here. So I'm in Maine in the US, and it gets dark because we're so far in the ocean. So we're literally on opposite times of the day.
I'm 7 a.m. now. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, we appreciate you getting up and getting on. That was great. Thank you so much, Gemma.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We are so lucky that we had this huge list of brilliant women, and they all shared such great tips. I was taking notes the whole time, so I couldn't be on camera because I kept looking the other way and I looked rude. So with all of the notes that I have, I'm going to pick through and see what is going to be the biggest thing for me to implement right away. And I want to ask you, what is the biggest thing that you learned today that you're going to implement right away? And put that in the chat, because we're really curious what you guys are getting out of every time we do these WEN-Talks. And then I'm going to shamelessly plug again Haley's amazing project for helping other female entrepreneurs understand what the meaning of abundance is. And that is the first book in a series, WEN Books Abundance, where you will get a chapter of your own to talk about, what is abundance to you? Is it money? Is it family? Is it time? What is it? It's going to be a guaranteed bestseller, and it will be published right in time for the International Women's Day. So, and on the back of that, I am also going to remind you that if you are looking to start a hard ticket course, and if you've ever wanted to write a book or have a course and you have an idea in mind, come to my free lab and let's set you up so 2023 can be the year you earn what you deserve. So I'm going to sign off and let you all go, and I hope to see you again on our next WEN-Talk. And it's Haley.
And I want to
Haley's
say
healing.
thank you, y'all. Everybody, let's tell Melissa thank you for doing this and being here for the last 3 hours, giving of her time so generously to
So fun. But
do
so fun.
this WEN-Talk. This has been so much fun. Thank you for being our host today, Melissa. This is an event by women, for women, by our members. So I'm so glad you're here. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great day.